This is really weird watching myself. Let me fix this. We need chat. We need cameraman. Let's guest join. Hi there, audio. Yes. No, but yes. Yeah, okay. So, nope. Just waiting for Brett to pop on in, cause it's public. Boo doo doo doo. Um, see here. That must be Ninja Focused. Bonus, for 5. Okay, and screen share. Okay, and drive, upload. Ah, should have gone to him. Why didn't it? Bonus episode 5 banner. And good. Okay, and links. Copy. And paste. Enter. Here's hoping. Oh, control room. Sweet. I forgot about that. Okay. Anybody who's... Oh, nobody's in here yet. Okay, cool. That works. Center text. Okay. Damn it. No. There we go. And close team. Too late. Okay. Hey, everybody. As soon as you're in, let's get a little better. A little less headroom. Cluttered room I live in. Enhance. Spotlight. Warm. Smooth. Black and white. Original. Enhanced. Yeah, enhanced is okay. Where are you, Brad? Install that. Cool. Should do. Yes. Oh, good lord. Fine. Fine. I hate you, YouTube. I hate you. Alright. So, YouTube off. Anything else I need to install? Zero viewers, no one else in. How do I... There we go. Invite. Because for some reason you weren't already in here. Go figure. Why is it mirrored? The text on my shirt is backward. That's weird. For the record, whenever this eventually gets seen, I was here on time, and I sent the link like 2 minutes late. Seriously, though. Oh, plug in install. But he's online. Yay. Now he has to install the plugin too, I bet. All right, let's invite. Okay. There we go. Invite. Down. That should be everybody. And hopefully we'll have viewers. Dishes. It's been a while since I've set one of these up. I used to record episodes using this all the time, and I'm an audio perfectionist. You can't be an audio perfectionist and use Google Hangouts. It doesn't work. Just never tried to record live, but even then I'm still an audio perfectionist. It gets really weird. It's really weird talking to myself. I'm going to get in here soon so I can look at other things. Hey, jerk. What's up? Yeah. Candle. Candle. Candle.
Hey,
Yes! Yes! I win! Technology cannot control me. All right. I'm gonna turn you down a bit. There we go. Say some.
I you just adjusted the audio level, I think.
Yeah,
I
because
can see your face bits.
you were a little loud.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna adjust you
Your
down a little
naughty,
bit more.
naughty face bits.
Naughty, naughty face bits.
Yeah.
Oh. No one's gonna be able to see that. That's not. He typed in, "I can see your face bits" in the chat. We're a classy podcast. Now, what I'd really like to do. Capture? You open capture
Whoa.
file. No, no, it's not what I want.
I did. I did not open capture. I was about to say.
No, I'm trying to find a way to put up just the banner for
Ah,
for the episode. Is there like a picture one? Like just picture? Just just
I
a
have
pic.
no clue.
Hey Brad. How are you? Hello? Hello? I hear a child in the background.
Hey there.
Hi, I'm going to also adjust your value.
Oh, am I too loud
Yeah,
too?
we're trying to put
Yeah.
Scarlet down for a nap.
Oh, I thought that was on his end.
Shh. I don't have any kids around here.
Yeah, well, child laborers and child laborers can call shores.
Yeah, no, we're trying to feed Scarlet right now. Hold on.
Your photo? Q&A? That's interesting. Oh, okay. Hey, Brad, do you know how to make it just a single picture instead of our faces?
What do you mean a single picture?
Like, I made a banner for the episode. I was just gonna put that up to save bandwidth for people, since it was gonna be public
Oh,
viewing.
um, no, not certain. I mean, I usually like put up. Let's see, what do I do here? Logo.
Oh, well, that's neat. Didn't know about that. Yeah, well, we wait for people to come in.
Oh yeah, it's custom overlay. That's what it is.
Custom overlay?
Yeah.
Can you send me a link to that
You want to
in
go
that app?
into it's in the Hangout toolbox.
Oh, it's in Hangout Toolbox? Okay.
Yeah.
Lower third. Oh, choose logo. Oh, that's neat. Oh, I'm gonna do that because I actually made us a logo. Logos. Where is it?
And then there we go.
Where did I put it? God, all my stuff's so scattered. I'm so disorganized.
Oh, no worries. You don't think people will want to just like see us live?
Is there a way to just do our two faces on the side then?
Um,
Is
I'm
there a
not
way?
sure how it works side by side. I'm not a wizard with this stuff. Usually,
Yeah.
usually I'm on here with JR and he handles all that.
The only issue I have is typically when it has the switch, it's kind of disorienting.
Yeah. No, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Well, if you're the caster, whoever you click on will be the dedicated.
Yeah, but I also
dedicated
don't want it to just be me. That's kind of lame.
Oh.
I mean,
So given all the people in this chat, you would click on yourself. I see.
I'm back.
Hey, you're back.
Yeah, we were getting the baby fed, and I think they're gonna put her down to sleep in the other room. So
Okay.
I was just getting all that taken care
Dude,
of.
how do you do a banner like that? I'm doing that.
What that?
There's so many new things now. How did that happen?
The hangout toolbox.
Yeah, I am messing with that like now.
Gross.
Green. Choose logo. If that's the case, I will just do the regular one. So the regular one. You'll do. Boom.
There we go. Yeah, I mean you can put whatever you want on these things.
Okay. Why is mine backwards?
Just click on the flip icon next to the on switch.
On switch.
And then and if you change anything, you'll need and it turn it on and off again.
Which one is the on switch?
It's you see it where it says lower third in the Hangout Toolbox column.
Oh, yeah. Lower third.
Yep. And then that little mirror local video thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. I'm normal again. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
All right. So I guess I should post the announcement since we're getting started.
Yeah, that would be excellent, sir.
Okay.
Cool. I am going to post an archive of this, probably video and audio form. So there'll at least be an audio episode or something.
Okay.
Change that.
All right. Let's see here. Do you have the link for people who want to join the YouTube link?
I should have it up there. Here, I'm gonna throw it in chat. What are you doing? What are you doing? Copy. Chat. Paste. There we go. There it is. It should be public. Anybody can join in. I have it so that anybody else who pops in, they pop in muted. So
but you
you can unmute them as we go.
Well, you could do, or what we typically do, what I've done in the past is we just post a YouTube link and then we just check the comments on YouTube. So people comment there and then we read those in real time as we.
Do you want the YouTube? Come on, Hangouts. What are you doing? Hangouts, you're drunk. Hangouts, go home. There's the YouTube link. There you
go. Okay. You said there, but where does it actually end up?
It's in chat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've just been putting it there because that's easy enough.
Okay. There's the chat. Okay. Cool.
Do you have Google Drive installed on here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got all the fanfics on the Google Drive, so I can just share it with
you. Yeah, you can just Google Drive it to me. All right, so I'm going to post an update that we're live now.
Sure.
And let me inception this real bit and watch it on YouTube. Now BattleCon has fanfiction.
Yeah, seemed like an appropriate name.
Okay. Why is that a downer? Interesting.
Why is what a downer?
Like, oh, now it has fanfiction?
No, it's now it has fanfiction.
Seriously, no, you got it right. You got it right the first time.
Okay, so I posted the link to our chat group for the BattleCon chat group. So now we're going to post to let's see, live chatting now. Come join us.
Is there a way to see the YouTube comments on here, or do I?
Just go to YouTube and then just pause the video there.
Oh, okay.
And you can just read them below the where it says no comments yet. I just say leave a comment, and most people will leave that. Also share on Google Plus, and then they'll we'll get lots of people jumping in and joining us. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
When comments are yelling at us, don't yell back. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, we should get typically good comments because we have a good community. So. And Yeah, let's see here.
I'm just gonna make us smaller.
Uh,
There we go. And now I can also see the YouTube comments.
now,
Boom.
let's see. Join
So
now.
will they update comments live, or do I have to
They'll
press F5?
usually you'll hit like the show more button, and or something like that. I don't know. It tends to work.
Okay.
Like maybe it'll auto reload every few seconds is what I've seen.
Oh, that's fine. That'll work just great.
Okay.
I keep clicking options and my camera keeps turning back on.
Well, what's
You don't want
going
anyone to
on
see?
behind you? You don't want anyone to see your face?
It's not that. It's just like, I don't know. I guess.
Oh, I do want to show you something.
Show me
I
something.
just want to go ahead and show off for Brad. I'm gonna turn off my camera for a moment.
Okay.
That's my Google Plus avatar. Yeah.
Oh, hold on. That.
Mine's
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's
Fancy
pretty
Carlton.
cool.
Yeah.
And then mine's creepy Uncle Phil staring at you from the corner there.
Great.
Yeah, when
Great,
David,
great picks.
when you jumped on, I thought the funniest thing was that I was sitting there, and your picture showed up in between me and CW, and I was just staring at you all creepy like.
Well. Let me. So give me about 2 more minutes. I just gotta
Yeah.
answer. Post this thing up, and then we'll get started with the good stuff.
Also, I like how the initial announcements mentioned that we were. What was it exactly? Ninja Hell Podcast?
I
Or
think
was it
that's
Ninja Info
Ninja
Podcast?
Infocast. That's what you are, isn't it? Did I get that
No.
wrong?
We're Ninja Infocast. You got it right.
Ninja
for the first time.
Infocast.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so it's not a podcast. It's a vidcast or
It's a podcast, but we don't have podcast in the name.
in the
'cause that
name.
just
Right.
sounds
Okay.
weird.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Sorry about that. Okay. Let's see. And we'll answer. Okay. So leave comments in the YouTube comments section. We'll answer as we talk. Anything else we want to say?
If you are one of the people who submitted
Uh huh.
okay, that's really weird. What is going on with my little?
If you're one of the people who submitted,
I totally want comments from those people. Like, I want to know why.
I want to actually have them on if possible.
okay.
Hey,
Well,
you know, what is up with my little tag? Not like what is up with the limited characters?
I think it's just a
Okay.
width limit. So if you just put like founder of Ninja Hell, then you'll probably be okay.
Because I'm looking at
Or
yours, and
Ninja
yours is
Hell.
like less. Yours is like more than mine.
Really? Well, maybe it's
Yeah.
because I'm on widescreen. I don't know.
Widescreen too. It's pretty wide. There's like a
Okay.
whole big giant chunk of banner.
I'm not the YouTube. I'm not the Google Plus wizard, as I've said.
Neither am I.
Who knows? But I mean, you could try just turning it on and off and see if that changes it.
I'm gonna try something slightly different. Let's try that. Boom! I win!
So wait, really quick. I'm at the toolbar. How do I make a banner again?
Alright, so you click the Hangout toolbox and install it.
Yeah, I did that. I did that.
Then you go to lower third.
Gotcha.
It's
There we go.
the circle face thing.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna. Yeah, okay. It is a character limit thing.
I should have cleaned up a bit for this whole thing.
Yeah, I
We,
actually shaded for it. How dare you not?
We actually just got our giant foam weapons in the mail, and we've been like doing boffer battles all afternoon.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
I actually. Do I have it out here somewhere?
So if
Give me a
I
moment,
if I
I'm gonna
smell
find
it
something.
through the video, that's because
Yeah.
it's sweating all.
Alright, give me a moment. Yes. Yes. Ah ha ha. I have no idea what you said for the past few moments. I was busy
Oh,
hitting
I've
myself
been
with the
silent. I've been typing.
live weapon. Yeah.
All right, so now we're chatting live with Ninja Infocast. Join out and chat with us. Leave comments in the YouTube comments section. We'll answer them as we talk. If you want people to submit readings for me, we want to hear your comments. Let's see.
I namely want them.
Your
if they have
comments
a mic,
/ excuses.
I would love them to actually be in the episode for those
Okay.
comments. That would be kind of cool.
Uh,
Also, a big giant push for this. I want them to post these fanfics to fanfiction.net because there is no BattleCon fanfics there.
Okay. Well, we should mention that on the when we start reading them, because I think that yeah. Also, we're not giving out the public join link, so it might.
Okay.
Or I haven't given out the public join link, so people can't just join us randomly.
That's cool.
If you want to invite somebody,
I do want to invite the authors. We can do that eventually.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So I'll just say, do you want me to? Well, you know their email addresses, so you can send them an invite link, I suppose.
Oh yeah, I guess you got a point.
Yeah. So why don't you go ahead and do that, and I'll do that.
Okay. Let me. Oh, dynamic entry kicks the door open. Yeah. Damn it.
I gotta tell Josh that he's gonna have to come in and chat with us and explain himself now.
Yeah.
At least one. Our graphic designer submitted one. He told me that he had submitted one.
Really?
Yeah.
What's his email address?
He's Ithri, I think.
Spell that?
ITHRY. He may have sent it.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
did?
there it is.
Is it like Ithri at level99games.com? Did he send it from?
No, Paliardthefallen at hotmail.com.
Okay, must be a mule.
This one is it's sent in by Joshua Van Lanningham, but
That's the guy, yeah.
Yeah,
he's the guy who does the graphic design for BattleCON cards.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, hold on.
All right, so let's see. We might even have him join chat with us.
Copy. Add people. Paste. Invite. Okay.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and publish this, and then we should have guests momentarily.
Cool. I'm going to go ahead and take care of invites. Hey, is William Lee the guy who does the battle guides?
That's Marco.
Oh, okay.
Marco.
I was going to say.
Did he send one?
If that was the guy, that'd be crazy, but no, this William Lee dude did.
Okay.
Just imagine one from him where, like, instead of the fanfic, it's like every couple of sentences he posts a new, like, factoid that takes up, like, a paragraph about one mechanic. I love his video, but that would get messy.
Indeed.
I also think someone from, by the way, you remember when I told you that you should get a Something Awful account?
Yeah.
They're gaga for BattleCon.
I actually met the guy that does the moderation for that forum.
Oh, dude, you met Winston? It's not Winston. Be careful. He gets very upset about it.
No, I think I met somebody else. I think it was his name was. Oh, I've forgotten it. I have it in my email. I think it was Daniel.
Okay.
But who moderates a couple of the games on the forum there.
Oh no, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, he does the PMP ones.
Yeah.
Or the play-by-post.
Yeah.
Something Awful went down like 2 days ago, shortly before I was able to do my first play-by-post for BattleCon.
Oh.
like, yeah, I'll do it. And just totally blew up.
All right, so that's going live now.
Contest. It's weird. I could have sworn there was more because I have them in my drive.
How many do we have?
Yeah, we have 4, but I only had 3 for some reason. That's weird.
Okay.
Oh, I know what I can do. Hold on. I had them send it to Ninja Hell Your Pants.
Whose idea for a ridiculous email was that?
All right, so when I first did the event at IckyCon, I was trying to come up with a tagline to advertise it, and the only one I could come up with was "It's like a ninja in your pants." So There you go. Ninja hell in your pants.
I see.
I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I figured it was because like it was a podcast and you keep the iPod in your pants pocket, and so it was Ninja Hell in your pants. You know. But
That works too. Sure. That sounds professional.
That
We'll
sounds
go
like a
with
far that sounds like a far more reasonable idea.
All right.
Like, if that's the story I'm gonna tell anyone, that's the story I'm telling people from now on.
Yeah.
okay.
I'm still gonna tell mine because screw you. I do what I want.
Well,
As you wish. As you wish.
As you wish.
Well, cool.
We
All
have
right, so I made the post, so we should be all
Yeah.
set to hang out and chat. We're like right on the edge of the 180K stretch goal, so
Yeah.
I actually haven't prepared a little banner for the 190 yet. So
By the
I
way,
should do that soon.
You are welcome. Did you see the BattleCon tag on Twitter?
No, how is it?
There is a bunch of them from me. I spent the past 2 days doing nothing but tweeting reasons BattleCon is better than blank. Like, you posted about how there was like 100 shares or something on Twitter alone. I'm like, yeah, that was 90% of that was me. It got ridiculous. I somehow like got a follower who likes Call of Duty because I made fun of Call of Duty and Halo and oh, you name it. We ripped into pretty much everybody. not mean, but we made fun of stuff.
Huh. Well, no. I'm just reading all these tweets right now.
You're welcome. I want Team Barkeep to happen.
Team Barkeep.
No Tarmogoy.
Yeah,
She's about that admin are approaching you about advertising for BattleCon.
yes, they did. They
asked you if you wanted to buy ads for BattleCon.
Because I kept on tweeting about it, so they thought I was the project dude.
Wow. They haven't even approached me about it.
The best part is they
Mildly
didn't
hilarious,
respond to my tweet about how they were wrong. They just dropped it like they're spam. I know they're not because the dude like he actually thought it out and typed it out, and then I guess he got embarrassed or something.
Well, I mean, I wonder if that's really a thing where like a Kickstarter gets popular and then like backers start advertising, like actually buying advertising for it because they want to hit all the stretch goals and stuff.
Who knows? That very well could be a thing. Sorry for this being wobbly. My computer's heating up a bit, so I'm gonna try and.
I'm not really watching the video at this point, I think.
Yeah, that works. I kind of am. I should admit that. I am a fanboy. So one of our hosts couldn't be here. He had other commitments come up, but he's a really big BattleCon fan. So he's super excited. He really likes Ryukuk.
Oh yeah, Ryukuk has a lot of fans. And people, that style of Ranger gameplay is pretty fun as well. So I can see that.
I don't know. I can't help it. I just really like Foco.
Yeah, I think we'll probably do some tuning patches for Devastation in the probably around the end of the year, and then we'll have some balance between all these.
How do you work patches like that? Do you just sell like a patch kit or?
We usually just give it away with our next product. So like if we were gonna do say a game in a BattleCon, the next BattleCon game, whatever it is, like Wanderers in December, we would say also with Wanderers you get a free patch for War and Devastation, and then it'll patch your game back up to the new whatever the new standard is. So and that's sort of the way that we've been handling it. But yeah, we don't want to charge for that kind of thing because it's a patch. So
makes sense to me.
Yeah, I remember, I can't remember what game it was, but I had gotten into it, and they were like, hey, new patches just came up, and I was like, cool, I'm going to go download them. It was like $1 a patch. I was like, what?
Oh, yeah. That's awful. That's rude. That's pretty rude.
They do that with, they did that with, I think it was Puzzle Strike, where you could like buy the upgrade kit, but it came with playmats.
Yeah, the upgrade kit for Pulse Strike came with some decent stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't a pure patch and that's it kind of thing. You got those little player boards and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But nowadays, if you buy, I want to say if you buy the game now, it comes with all that stuff in the box too. So.
Yeah. They did a reedition.
Yeah. The other one, Yomi's on right now on Kickstarter as well.
Yeah, I heard. I'm not as big a fan of Yomi. I don't know what it is about it. I think it's the fact that it's playing cards.
Maybe. You know,
But that's a personal thing. That's not something to say that it's not a good game. It's just, I don't know, it doesn't appeal to me.
There's a dangerous temptation to put your game on playing cards because printing companies print in playing card decks. Like what's cheap for a printer is going to be one deck of playing cards. And so so when you're printing a run of 54 cards, there's a dangerous temptation to just put put playing card suits and numbers up in the corner and let it be. And I see a lot of games do it, and I feel like it hurts more than it helps.
I agree.
But yeah. But
all right, so we've had 18 viewers. I think it's time to actually go ahead and start the stream episode proper because we've been doing some chit chatting. But we do have some housekeeping we have to do. I have a topic. Typically, on the podcast nowadays, everyone brings a topic or a rant or an activity that they can force everybody else to do. For you, your topic is your game and the fan fiction contest. But I have this thing that I really want to talk to you about that I want to get some feedback from you on because it kind of is about the way the gaming culture is perceived in today's world.
Okay.
So let me go ahead and get
which I find mildly hilarious because you chose that and then I chose an example of a really kind of what I consider a very beautiful and elegant gaming community that probably goes against the perceptions most people have.
Yeah.
Board gaming and video gaming too are extremely different communities with extremely different perceptions. So that can color out of things too. It's hard to lump gamers into a group, and even card gaming like Magic the Gathering has a different perception.
True. I am actually talking about the traditional gaming community. Aside from,
are you guys okay? No? Okay. Sorry, we're still at work here in the office, and so they came by my office, and we're just looking in the window, staring at me. Sorry.
No, you're fine. All right, so I'm gonna go away from the camera for a second. I just want to read this to you. So this was linked on Something Awful. Ironically enough, is how I found out about this. The link was to an article on stpetersblog.com. And the title is The Bizarre Double Life of Conservative Congressional Hopeful Jake Rush.
Okay. Seems rather obscure.
Yeah. So I'm gonna read it, and then we can talk about it.
Okay.
I think that works. So running for the U.S. Congress can be the role of the lifetime for a budding politician, which would seem on the surface to fit right in with conservative Republican candidate Jacob A. Rush. Rush, who's a 35-year-old attorney who just launched a campaign in Florida's 3rd Congressional District, knows a thing or two about role-playing. The former county sheriff's deputy announced on March 20th that he would join the GOP primary race against incumbent Representative Ted Yoho, the first-term Tea Party favorite from Gainesville. It goes on to describe how he made a well-produced professional video portraying himself as the ultimate conservative straight shooter, ready to fight for we the people. And it has all the stereotypical stuff. But this is the meat of the article. This is the turning point. This is like when you're watching a movie and you're like, all right, so things are normal, and then a thing happens and you go, oh man, we're into the plot now. What the slick video does not mention is that Rush, as Chaz with 2 Z's, Darling, Das with 2 A's, Van der Vinst, and a host of other roles, was a longtime member of the Mind's Eye Society, otherwise known as Camarilla.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a vampire LARPer.
Okay.
I want to vote for him. I want.
Yeah, that could make me vote red.
Yeah, that's motivating. Like that encourages me to vote for this guy. Here's the thing, though. This article proceeds to say that it's a bad thing, that it's a reason why you should not vote for this candidate, suggesting that he is immature in some way. It also mentions a few other things which actually are problematic, but I'm getting ahead of myself.
But specifically, the role playing is the LARPing is the thing we want to focus on.
The LARPing is the thing that they focus on as being negative. They then mention at the very bottom, here it is. There's a paragraph that mentions one particular thing that I think is actually something that would make me not want to vote for him. But they really focus more on the role play.
What's the name of this guy again?
The guy's name is Jake Rush.
Rush, huh?
I just have to say it's kind of funny. I love articles like this where it's like, here's this massively perceived problem, but then there's like a little one tied to it, which is always worse. It's like, oh my gosh, he eats like 4 hamburgers a day and also kills babies. But seriously, the hamburgers, guys.
So
I like how the guy next to him in his vampire clothing with the black contacts.
Yeah, so you're on the same article as me, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I am going to go ahead and say the one thing that's the problem is that he apparently has a video that was deleted, but someone found. It's a deleted photo that someone uploaded and found that was titled "Put on my rape face," which I'm sorry, that's just stupid. But
yeah, well,
that is like
they do some weird stuff in online. I mean, I've known a few. All the Mind's Eye Society members that I've known, which is a small sample, have been cool, ordinary people. But I've heard that that some things are not always above board. So what can I say except that that my experience with these people has always been positive. So I think it's it's another role playing group, and there's going to be people that are that take it too seriously, and people that are there to have fun.
But let's not rush necessarily into something crazy. Let me just go ahead and say, my question is not should people vote for Rush, yay Rush, but the question is, has society moved past this idea that Dungeons and Dragons and role-playing games are evil, or are we still stuck in some weird satanic panic state?
I think that for the most part,
you can't live an ordinary life if you admit to being a gamer.
I think that it's mainstream enough that you can do most things, but perhaps politics, it's just such a polarized thing. At least on the Republican side, I think if you were a Democrat, you would be like whatever, sure. If you were on the liberal side of things, nobody would care. But on the Republican side of things, things are very polarized towards religion, and you can start a satanic panic, on a pin drop if you want. Then it's anyway, and I don't mean to be party lines, but I was raised very, very strict. What do I want to say? Like strict conservative fundamentalist Christian, and we were kind of always in that state back at Christian school.
Yeah.
So
that's because like eating too much chocolate was apparently of the devil. I mean, it's just like.
And so
remember, if you read Harry Potter, it will teach you how to be a Satanist.
Yes.
Well,
actually, that happened in my middle school. That was.
I mean, that's. I immediately began.
That was my mom and dad.
summoning demon goat gods when I got done with the series. So.
It took you the whole series. I was doing it in like book 3.
Well, I'm a slow learner. Okay?
You gotta pick up on you gotta read backwards.
Oh, that's my problem.
It's so easy. Come on, guys.
I was reading them in like Russian and not backwards. So
no, the issue is that Brad, you were not reading Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. That was Harry Potter and the Mystical Gate to Azeroth.
Yeah.
Like, Cthulhu Fhtagn and all that jazz.
Yeah.
Speaking of Azeroth, I've been playing the the Hearthstone TCG lately. Have you
How
guys
is
tried that
that?
out yet? It's
I've heard
pretty
of it.
cool. It's quite good. I mean, it's not like high strategic entertainment. In the same way that that what's the word? I'd say like Magic or some of the other more finely tuned CCGs. Like your win rate's kind of directly related to how well you play and how well you play your deck. Or not like whether you win each individual game is directly related. Hearthstone's not really like that. It's more like you're going to play hundreds of games, and if your deck is better, then you'll statistically win more games than not. Um, but you're not guaranteed any given game because the top deck is so powerful in that game.
So we're talking like Yu-Gi-Oh before they patched the rules for XYZ summons.
Kind of.
Nowadays, for those who don't know, it used to be in order to summon the really cool monsters, you had to have two monsters you could fuse together and a card called polymerization. And there was a couple of cases where you didn't need like one or two pieces, but for the most part, it was you must have three cards or you may not have this extra cool thing. Nowadays, they tweak the rules to try and fix that a bit by having these monsters you summon by tributing monsters that fit a certain requirement that are any of them, as long as they are particular qualifiers like a certain level or a certain element.
Right. Yeah, fuses with plants or something like that.
Yeah, it's now you want to summon a level 5 XYZ monster, put underneath it two monsters on the field who are both level 5. You just any of them.
Yeah.
Which makes it like,
yeah, so I'd say Hearthstone's not. I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh is a pretty volatile game, and I'd say Hearthstone's about on that level, in that a good hand is going to win or lose the game, but as your deck gets better, you'll find that you win more matches. So you have to play kind of the long game in that sense, and you play a few matches, you go and you reach in your deck, and you feel like you're getting a better win percentage with the new changes, and you refine. It's that sort of a play.
okay.
Which I mean personally I like a little better because it means you can't really just sit there and go, hey, I'm gonna drop like $600, have top deck, and just be the best forever, and then sell off my top deck right before it gets old, and then buy the next one.
Yeah, even having a deck full of legendaries is not going to get you very far. In fact, some of the legendaries are even worse than comparable commons. They're just novelties with cool phrases and stuff.
Well, if we're talking about other games we've been playing besides BattleCon, I've been getting into Cardfight Vanguard.
Okay.
Which it surprised me. It reminds me a lot of Battle Spirits, which I used to actually judge.
Tier.
Like we got a player group here.
Well, aren't all the Bushiroad games like Weiss Schwartz, Cardfight, and Buddy Fight? They're all the same game, right? With different skins.
No, actually, they're quite different. They have.
Oh, okay.
Weiss Schwartz and Cardfight Vanguard have one aspect in common, which is they have grades of cards, and you increase them as you play.
Okay.
But that's really it. With Cardfight Vanguard, you basically have a quarter of your deck is set up as what's called drive check cards, or trigger cards. And so when you attack with the card that represents you on the field,
right,
which is the Vanguard card.
Yeah. You get to do what's called a drive check, and you reveal either the top 1 or the top 2 cards of your deck, and if they have a special symbol on them, you get a power boost, and you can draw, or you deal 1 extra damage to a player, or
you heal damage.
Stand another person up, or you heal damage.
Okay, so kind of like the control checks in UFS.
Yes,
except a little bit, yeah.
Except they have specific effects. Yeah.
Yes. The other thing is, if you take damage, you always do a drive check. And so you can do a drive check that ends up healing you.
Okay.
You can do a drive check, and then your unit, the unit that's your Vanguard, can become more powerful, so it's harder to take more damage.
So it sounds very much similar in that it's a game where you tune your deck for statistical advantage, and not necessarily for an every game kind of advantage.
Well,
yeah, like there are certain what's called like clans or groups, and what it is like those cards will always work better with each other. Like for example, there's the I like to call them just there's the space giant space mecha robot clan.
That's
Which
Dimension
is
Police.
yeah, which is Dimension Police, and those Dimension Police cards will always work better with each other. But in theory, you could still put together a deck that was made out of different cards and have a decent outcome.
The focus of the game is much more on being mono deck based, where it's like
Yeah.
one type,
Mhm.
which is nice because when it comes to getting set up in Vanguard, it's actually a lot cheaper than other games. You buy one set. Why? Because it has your clan
No.
and all those cards you can use.
Well, for me, my personal one is Netrunner right now. Have you guys played Netrunner?
Oh, that's so good, but it's so
Netrunner's
expensive.
It's so good. It's not that once you're caught
It's
up,
expensive,
you know,
yeah.
it's $15 a month, which is comparably quite cheap.
And that's
I hate to railroad us, but we did kind of go a little off topic here.
Yeah, we've got comments. We should probably answer
Yeah.
some of the comments.
Yeah.
That questions that people have asked.
How about all right? So
if you go to the YouTube channel, yeah, you can just click that
Yeah.
more recent comments will pop up every time someone leaves a comment.
Oh, cool.
And then you just arrange them to newest first, and then you'll start to see all the newer comments at the top.
actually, if you're in the Hangout toolbox, there's a comment tracker.
Oh, there is for the
Yeah.
YouTube comments as well?
It's
let's
if
see.
you look at the Hangout toolbox, you'll see the face in the circle, volume, some weird smile thing, and then a voice box. Voice box is comment tracker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How does that work?
all
Oh,
the
add
YouTube ones.
sources, and then I just
Boom.
copy the link here, and then add, and... Oh, okay, that's cool. That's super neat.
So
Can you post that
let's-
link really quick?
Sure. I'll post it in our
Yeah.
chat.
let me go ahead and say, the majority of them seem like they're asking what sort of changes are going to be.
In
And-
Devastation?
No,
Alright.
for the patch that you were talking about.
Yeah. So we found some balance deficiencies in Devastation, and those have been talked about pretty extensively on Board Game Geek. I'm not going to jump the gun on it and release anything too soon. I want to wait till BattleCon Online is live and get a lot of logged matches, like thousands of matches that are logged, so that we can examine those and see what the real win rates and real use statistics for each of the different cards are, and then we can tune specifically which things we want to change. So, because I think if we were gonna issue fixes right now, we'd nerf some Eric stuff and we'd nerf some Caitlyn stuff and we'd nerf some Octavia stuff, and then that would be it. And but there might be other things. Yeah, like we might want to buff Marmalade a little bit, and that's like it. But really, there's probably a lot of little changes here and there. Like
Especially with the new characters in Extended, you have to test against them.
yeah, we
Anytime
probably
you-
want to do some testing against that, and we might need to round them out a little bit.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm told that I'm told that Marmalade is pretty weak. I think I've also heard that that Gaspar has a pretty low win rate, and Voko has a pretty low win rate.
Yeah,
So-
I also have to tell you, I've never seen a good match with Pendros. Whether
Pendros,
I play
really?
it or I'm playing against someone, yeah, nobody's able to pick it up.
Really, I do pretty well with Pendros, but see, that's the kind of thing that
Yeah,
you don't know if it's just your circle meta or if it's like the whole game meta. And I think BattleCon Online will tell us a bigger story.
and maybe it would be different if I think it's namely the delay and
Mhm.
trying to work with that.
Yeah, it takes a little more forethought than your typical brawler does to make Pendros work.
I've heard a lot of people say that maybe him in Flight 2 instead of Flight 1 would have worked a little better.
Probably so. I don't know who we would have brought down though.
Rexan.
Is really yeah.
Rexan, I
Rexan?
just he clicks so easy. But
Okay.
Pendros, you gotta kind of have an understanding of how the board works a little more.
Yeah. I guess I didn't want two counterattackers in Flight 1. Was the main
That's
thing.
the
Eligor and Rexan
That's-
together would be like they just stare at each other until one of them swung first, and that would kind of be their fight.
So like Combat in Exalted Second Edition.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Sorry. Getting back to BattleCon.
I haven't played Exalted, although I would like to. But
It's a fun game. Second edition had a lot of mechanical and other issues, but I'm excited for third.
uh,
Mhm.
well, Cool. So,
Oh. So, Kendall, you had another gaming topic.
Well, there was one other thing I wanted to say about your little gamer and how that's perceived topic.
Okay.
I think there's also a current viewpoint that people who hold certain positions, whether it's of authority or of status, basically like should not succumb to the fantasies of the plebes down on the lower levels. If we heard tomorrow that someone like Donald Trump played D&D, there'd be a hubbub no matter who you were. Someone would have a problem with that.
Yeah, sure.
And I think that there's always going to be somebody who's going to have a problem with anyone having fun. But I think at the same time, there's also this kind of weird social dynamic that we kind of just think a little too highly of certain people, and don't think that they should be doing the things we're doing.
I guess. I think that some people are just going to have to step out of the closet first, and that'll change. That'll pave the way. So
the gaming closet.
I mean, yeah, I phrase it like that intentionally because that's sort of how it happened for for LGBT too. Is that a few actors or actresses said hey this is us, and then it became rapidly more acceptable once people who were who were already generally accepted in culture did it. And I think that's kind of how gaming is going to be too. Once we have a few more Will Wheatons out there, gaming is going to become a lot more mainstream.
Now, something I think is interesting,
which I'll be happy to see.
Something I think is interesting to point out: every time a president goes on a vacation, they always get some sort of flack from another party, and I think that might actually hold back politicians and leaders in gaming, because it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on, somebody always has a problem with the president taking time to be with their family, taking time to just go on vacation. As if that's like, how dare you spend any time not doing your job?
Yeah, no.
I don't have a problem with vacations. I have a problem with like $4 million vacations.
So,
well,
if I can't go on that vacation, I don't think the president should. I want to go on that vacation.
Anyway, I think we had a few more comments.
Yeah,
they
kind of
popped out. I think my favorite is actually from Ephraim Kurth, who wants to know where your hat is.
My hat. I left my hat at home today, and I regret it now. I didn't even think about it.
You are one of the people I've seen brave enough to be able to wear a fedora in today's world. I could not keep it up. I had to stop.
I wouldn't like go buy one, but my dad gave it to me, and I started wearing it
special
because it was an heirloom of sorts. So so I'm not one of those guys that just go out and buy a fedora.
Hey, so be it. I actually want to get another Burma at some point, but that's like $100 for kangaroo leather. So what can you do? I do want to go ahead and say, Ryan.
Those damn kangaroos.
I feel like it's not Pindros's fault that I'm not good at him. I feel like it's my fault that I'm not good at Pindros. So Pindros is fine by me. I'm not very good at Pindros. It's bad.
Well, I think in general people avoid him because they don't like the the timing on him, and he's a little weird because if you kind of have to let go of the environments and just be like, oh, if they happen, they're cool, and if not, then whatever. I know I have more mobility control, so I can avoid the bad ones if I need to.
Yeah.
So, but
this is actually this question's actually a really good one. Eric Cooper Flowers wants to know. So Yomi and BattleCON are kind of the dominant non-collectible card game or card fighting games. What's your favorite thing about BattleCON that isn't in Yomi? And then, are there any aspects of Yomi that you wish you had included in BattleCON?
So first question, favorite thing about BattleCon that isn't a Yomi. I think the range really makes the game work. Is that we have different ranges, and so that means that one beat is not like the next beat, and also the rotating discard piles. So with Yomi, you always have attack, block, and throw. And in BattleCon, your options change every beat. So, in Yomi, any given beat feels like any other beat, except that now you have more combo potential, or now you have more super potential. Those sorts of things. Where in BattleCon, really the entire way you have to approach the problem changes in each given beat. And so I think that's what I like the best, is that the ground shifts under you because of the way that range works and because of the way the rotating discards work. That there's a different right answer every beat. As far as the second part,
I have to thoroughly agree with that. By the way, like that's exactly what I would have said. So
yeah, it's kind of I think it's, and I do like Yomi. I haven't played very recently just because I'm always so busy with testing BattleCon, which is what they're out there in the office doing right now. Is actually we're testing all the new characters. But the thing that they have that I like is I like the idea of combos, and I like the idea of using multiple supers in the same round of play. And so I think that after this project, we're probably not going to do a new BattleCon for a year or two. We're going to do another game, which I'm calling currently BattleCon Xseed. That's more of that has a couple new systems. It's got the force gauge as an integrated part of it. What am I thinking? Your characters have more attacks, more styles, and they'll be able to use supers at various points within the match, and not just once at the very end. So it's something that'll integrate a lot of new systems and give us some new design space, and I'm pretty excited about that. And we've got that like pre-balancing, everything right now. Really, it's more of concept on paper at this point. So look for that maybe in a year from us.
Cool.
So seriously, when are we gonna get to see Team Barkeep? When is that happening? Why are you leaving it up in the air?
Still drawing them. But I can tell you that we have a playtestable version of O'Brien and Boris. They're both votable characters that'll be in the vote before it goes up. So you'll be able to get to do the Mustache Massacre as your finisher at some point before the end of the battle, or before the end of the vote.
Yeah, if you haven't played the game, it's great. I love 7-Card Slugfest. Thank you for sending that for us to review, by the way.
Yeah, no, it was cool. I really enjoyed calling you guys up and chatting about it on air. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was on the college radio station for the college I go to. So, for those wondering what the heck we're talking about.
Boris
we got the breaking news first.
Yeah, the bartender from 7-Card Slugfest, and O'Brien is the villain from that. I think the coolest thing about that game is that it's like a canon story. Like Distillers is kind of like just like an aside, and Pixel Tactics is just but the story of 7-Card Slugfest is actually canon World of Indians.
Yes.
So it's officially part of the lore. Which,
the other thing I like is that Boris is your world's version of that dude who's in every inn in Legend of Mana. The dude with the turban who's like this.
Yes, he's actually inspired by that. Yes, it's the same Boris in every bar.
Yep.
I'm incredibly happy about this.
It's another one of those games that I'd play with you guys if we ever had time whenever we hang out.
Oh, well, we'll have to catch up at Gen Con, or where are you guys out of?
We're in Texas, so
hey,
you came to PAX South.
We won't do PAX South, but we will be at QuakeCon.
Really?
Wait, ooh.
We're coming to QuakeCon next month, and then we'll be at BGG-Con in November. And if you guys haven't done BGG-Con, Board Game Geek Con.
No, like where?
Oh, it's in Dallas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's right there at Dallas Airport.
So I'm not sure if you've just seen the most recent comment. If O'Brien makes it in, Luchador alt confirmed.
Yes.
What would be the alternate for Boris actually?
For Boris, that's a good question, and I think I'd probably leave it to Fabio to decide what I can't tell you the.
The masked mustache would be great.
Yes.
That be the tagline.
A tiny mustache on the mask that masks a bigger mustache.
Yes.
Yes.
I think we can make that happen.
Also, somebody got really excited about Wanderers. Are you going to do more than one thing of Wanderers? Because I can't come up with any characters.
We'll see how many entries we get. You know,
been killing
I mean, we haven't started judging them yet. We're probably going to start looking at the end of July, about the time we finish with War, and you know, just so that we don't have any like idea contamination, if you will. Like we don't want to, we don't want to look at those before we, you know, publish all of our, all the BattleCon characters that we're going to publish. Yeah. So so yeah. But
also,
I had something I was going to say, and I lost my train of thought.
Ryan, to further apologize for my slander against Pendros, he is asking Brad, which comes next? Millennium Blades or Frame Wars? I do want to mention, technically, it's Willennium Blades because we are in the Willennium.
Are we in the Willennium?
It never stopped being the Willennium.
I see. Well, Willennium Blades then will come out. We're shooting for December. And hopefully, so Frame Wars, that's more Fabio's project, and so he has the status on that. And I'm not sure where it's currently at, but I think that because he's been so caught up in in doing the all work for BattleCon, that we haven't done much development on Frame Wars recently. So I think it'll probably be Millennium Blades first, and then Frame Wars after that.
And as a separate question, what's this triple triad game I'm hearing of? I'm a really bad level 99 games fan.
Oh, okay. We have a game called Cell Swords, and it's loosely inspired by triple triad.
Oh, cool.
But the gameplay itself is quite different. The basic mechanic of you play a card down and it attacks all the cards around it with its number values is similar. But each card has a kind of unique ability to it. So when you play them down, they all do something differently. Like one will shoot over multiple rows. One will like flip everybody, but it also flips itself to your opponent's side. There's one that like can't be flipped at all, or one that can target at range. All sorts of different mechanics like that. There's about 50 different heroes in that game that you can use.
Oh, wow.
And
And
that seems really cool.
it's quite fun. You draft them off. So you draft with your opponent to get a hand of 6, and then you play 6, and then you score, and then you draft for another hand of 6, and you play those 6. But the way the scoring works is by saturation. Like in Triple Triad, you just want to black out the board and collect as many of your colors as you want. But in this, you actually want to score lines and columns. And so getting like 5 guys in a row is 10 points, where having 1 guy in every row is 0 points. You really want to have lines and columns to so it makes it much more tactical. Like
it's like Triple Triad meets Connect 4, basically.
You should play it. We'll send you guys a copy to try out.
Okay.
But it's a great little quick table game, kind of in the vein of Noir, but a little bit heavier.
Also,
finally,
I can get a copy of Noir. It wasn't a download.
Just my last little comment on that. It kind of sounds like a combination of like a card and a puzzle game, because that sounds like a lot of like drop-down puzzle games.
It does sort of have that drop-down puzzle element.
Which I personally
play,
yeah, I personally like it, so I think I'll probably end up having a lot of fun with it.
So, it's pretty fun. It's quite fun, and it was neat because it was one that I didn't get involved in at all. Like the guys in the office and our designer like completely made it. Like they did everything, and they did all the balancing and all the testing. And then they're like, "Oh, Brad, play this," and I was like, "Oh yeah, this is good. Print it." And then it's getting printed, and I've only played it like 3 times, and they've played it like 100 times. So, but everyone I have played it with, I played it more than 3 times because I took it to Origins and I played it with everybody I met. See you guys later. Sorry, people leaving from playtesting. But I played it with like everybody there at Origins, and it was batting 1,000. Everyone who played it really loved it and wanted to get a copy. So, but yeah, we'll send one along when it comes out. Cell Swords, and it's actually also on pre-order in our store. And you can add it to your pledge on BattleCon for for $15. So,
dude,
nice.
You already got 135 from me. I can't spare anymore.
No, I realize that we've asked a lot for the complete.
There he is. There's the Mechanicritic. He
Oh.
loves you, spell swords.
Spell swords.
Spell swords.
I heart spell swords.
It's like the Number Munchers version of spell swords.
It's
Also-
it's more magical than regular cell swords.
Have you had the chance to check out some other little like dollar store games? Because there's Tetris the card game.
You know, I haven't. I played Tetris, the board game where you slide the
Yeah.
pieces in, but I haven't played the card game.
The card game's
Yeah.
weird. It basically has a whole bunch of tetrominoes on one side, and then on the other side, all of the backs are different, and they're little like play screens with blanks in them, and basically you have a hand, and your opponent has a hand, and whenever you draw a card, the top card of the draw deck is what you're playing towards, and if you can fill in a line, you score a point. Fill in 3 lines, you score 3, and it's weird, but it kind of works.
I'll have to look into that because I got the Angry Birds card game. I wasn't very impressed with that one.
I'm not as impressed as I thought I would be with the Tetris one, but they did something interesting. It wasn't bad.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what you see with a lot of those light card games is that they have one interesting mechanic, and sometimes they realize it and it works out really well, and sometimes they don't, and it doesn't. But you know. Anywho.
Ryan, you've betrayed me. How dare you say that Boris needs to stay in FPC? How dare you?
Hey, show you guys the plushies.
Oh, hey, there he is.
These plushies.
All right, I'm just gonna have you on screen for this.
Okay.
That's adorable.
Oh yeah, these are the BattleCon plushies.
Did
that
you
that we
knit
have.
them?
I'm not the designer or the maker of these. They're made by Jacinda at Needleforge, and she makes little like character plushies for NPCs and RPGs and stuff, or for your player characters in RPGs. And so
I want to cuddle one.
yeah, they're pretty cute. Look at this sweet monocle on Kadath. Like, isn't that cool? It even has a little chain. You know. Like, oh,
That's
hello,
the part that
Nicole,
really-
how are you doing? Oh, I am doing well, Kadath. Shall we battle? You know, that kind of thing. I think we'd have a tutorial video where these guys teach you BattleCon.
That's
Yes.
what really sells it for me is the little monocle, and then it's the little key, the actual key earring.
Yeah.
That really sells it for me.
Yeah, these are way
so-
cute. And she did a super job. She's actually going to make the patterns available for these after the Kickstarter, so you'll be able to make your own, or browbeat your significant other to make it for you.
Okay, so we have some
I
question
do
catch
prefer
up.
browbeating.
We have some question catch up we got to do.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go. Oh, it was Mr. Mahdi. That's the dude from Legend of Mana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Mahdi, he's everywhere doing everything.
So I'm gonna go top down because we had someone who asked a bunch of questions who said skip them for a bit. So, how big is the level 99 nowadays?
All right. So there's me. Chad is our lead programmer. Chris is our project manager. Josh is our graphic designer. Mike's our warehouse manager. Sam's our publicist and events coordinator. Fabio and Noko are our 2 artists, and we have a contract programmer, Reagan, who works with Chad on occasion. And then, of course, we have various other artists that we hire in and out on occasion. And we have a lot of local playtesters. There's about 5 people that come to playtesting every week here in Albuquerque. So, but they're not really staff. So, like as far as staff, we have like 8 people who come to work and do level 99 games all day, every day.
Okay. So.
Nice.
Matt Turnbull, and I'm mentioning his name because either this is a great question or horrible question, I don't know which, is would you ever make BattleCon into a fighting game? I remember you having said no.
We're in talks,
I'm
interested in making it into a fighting game, but it would be a very different fighting game than most of what's on the market. I feel that like the fighting genre is really stagnant right now, and you either have to like do extremely high levels of polish, like you see in Guilty Gear and Street Fighter Ultra 4, or you have to do something extremely novel, which is like what you see in like Smash Brothers and Power Stone. And so that's where I would want to go. I would want to go on the far away from the traditional fighting game model and do something that's novel and unique. Because if you sit in the middle and you're not novel and you're not polished, you end up being, you know, one of these like DLC only type games that you see on PSN that that just, you know, are just not interesting to play. You know, like why would I play this when I could play one of the high end games or one of the innovative games?
Well,
Yeah.
then there you go. That's your answer, Matt. Good question. You
So yeah, we
succeeded.
want to do something new and unique if we make a BattleCon video game. But we are in talks with some different studios that want to pursue it, especially after the Kickstarter. And that's one of the secondary effects of Kickstarter, which is really neat. Is like since we started the Kickstarter, other companies have kind of gotten a gauge of how popular we are, and so they've solicited us for crossovers. Like we've gotten solicitation for video game licenses to make board games for those. You know, we've gotten solicitation for companies who want to make our board games into video games, just because they see how many fans are backing us up on Kickstarter. So it's not just about making stretch goals. It's also about bringing these games to life in a new way that coming to Kickstarter is doing for us. And so so I want to say to the fans that they're supporting us in more ways than they even think.
So I'm gonna go ahead and answer one of these questions. A PAX South, yes. At the latest PAX, they announced that PAX South will be in San Antonio, and it's going to start next year. You can find more information by going to google.com and doing what's called a search.
PAX South, that's the first I've heard of it too. And PAX South is something we could actually do because it's local for us. You know, I mean it's regional for us, not local, but regional. Whereas PAX East is way off in nowhere, and PAX West is a little too far. But East is, you know, or South would be something we could really do.
So I do want to mention. Have you heard of Dive Kick?
Yes, I love Dive Kick.
I love
Dive
Dive Kick.
Kick's great.
Moving on, we have another question. Which fighting game is the biggest inspiration for BattleCon? I remember you mentioning that on episode 5.
Yeah, I think we said, or I don't know if we mentioned it, but Blaze Blue was kind of the core inspiration for BattleCon, and at least for sure for the unique ability system that we had. I kind of developed the base style mechanic, and then like I was sitting playing Blaze Blue and I was like, that's what I need. I need unique abilities to make this game really really stand out. So that's where that came from.
So are you saying I can play a version of Iron Tiger on your game?
You could. I mean, I've actually somebody on Board Game Geek has made a fan edition of Iron Tiger that you can download and print and play with your BattleCon set fully integrated.
I'm so doing that.
Yeah, there's a lot. Actually, there's a DC Comics set where they've reskinned all of the BattleCon fighters as DC Comics characters. So you can play as Joker and Batman and Ivy and those guys too. It's
Nice.
pretty cool. It's pretty neat what people have done with the game, and I really enjoy seeing all the variants and and reskins that people come up with.
Also, Brad.
Well, and I think it's one of the signs of a good game is how easily it kind of transitions genres. Like, not so much in how alterable or changeable it is, but just like how easily it is for you to go, that character is kind of like this, I can maybe do something like this, because it kind of gives you that sense of like these people at least know your game well enough and like your game well enough to want to do something more or on top of it.
Yeah, it's really neat that that it's such a malleable game, and I think that's one of the best moves that we made was to put the blank cards in the first game, because even if they're not really great for that purpose, it's a signal to players that like, yeah, we want you to add on to the game yourself at home, and I think that's really one of the coolest aspects of board gaming, and that's kind of what got me into it was when I saw the blank tiles in Dominion and in Small World. That I thought, people can make their own board games, and it's pretty easy. There's not some, mystical math voodoo behind all this. You just come up with a good idea and put it on paper and play it. So, anyway, that's my take on it. So I think it's really neat to include those blanks in the game, and we'll be including them again in War. We didn't in Devastation just because the box was so full already. We were to the very edge of our print sheets, but we will have them in War again this time.
Hey, Brad, I do have a complaint, by the way, about Devastation. What was
Yeah.
up with that horrible insert that I couldn't use?
The
That just was like a big giant plastic thing, and I like put all the characters in the little envelopes, and I'm like, they won't go in. I eventually just had to throw it away.
the envelopes, you actually kind of have to square them with your finger, and then they fit really snugly and don't shake when you shake the box. But it's a really tight fit, and I think if we were doing it again, we would make those wells about about an 1/8 inch wider, just to accommodate the character packets.
Well, one of the things that I found out about that I actually did, in fact, yeah, I'll get my box. Let me show it off.
Okay, you have a unique storage solution.
It's inspired by a solution I saw on Something Awful.
Okay.
So.
Now it's Something Awful. Whenever Something Awful is referenced, I've always have a moment of fear and panic. Actually, my old roommate in college used to be a goon. They're called goons, right? That's what.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I used to be a goon, and he exposed me to some of the darker parts of Something Awful as a prank, and I was scarred for life.
You went to FY80. Never go to FY80.
I mean, I don't know what it was. He was just like, "Hey, Brad, check this out." And he turned his computer around. And it was like, like Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade.
Your skin just started melting off.
Yeah,
and that little...
that exactly. All right, so what do you have? Can you click on the thing so that it always shows you on the?
Let me go ahead and turn off that thing. So one of the things that's cool about what they suggested is if you take trading card game boxes, you can actually set everybody up in rows.
Oh,
Just make
okay.
some storage. You can do stuff on the side. Like I've got all the counters for each flight here. Scenario bosses, Battle Quest.
Okay.
So yeah, this was something they suggested. I liked it.
Okay, cool.
I did it.
Well, this is probably a good juncture to go ahead and talk about our 300K stretch goal.
All right, so what is your 300K? What is it?
So the 300K stretch goal that we're going to announce probably tonight or tomorrow morning is a giant box with individual tuck boxes for each character in all sets. So it's an expansion that's basically a giant storage solution for all your BattleCon stuff.
Are you gonna do it like the BGG weird character select screen?
Yeah,
thing?
that's kind of what we have in mind for this big box. And so that's what we're looking at for the 300K stretch goal is to make that box and to make it available to backers. So, and it's not going to be quite as big as the Ogre box, but it's a pretty big box.
Okay. So we do have a couple more questions. I'm gonna say let's get through them real quick, and then we're gonna get to the fanfics because it's about time.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Ryan, I forgive you for your slight. So is the plan that the Wanderers characters will be canon for Indians or no?
Yes, Wanderers characters will be canon for World of Indians, just like all of the backer created characters that we've had in the past. So they will become like one of the questions we've asked on the Wanderer submission form is how does your character fit into the World of Indians story? What character relationships do they have? That sort of thing. So all that is part of the submission process.
And I have a massive post from the Mechanicritic. That was an epic typographical error about spell swords. I just woke up. I am shocked that Brad's not rocking his hat. I want plushies too. Can I have a plushie? I'm not really good at pronouncing that name.
Heketch is Heketch, and for $100 you can have any plushie you want. That's the best. That's the best that I can offer at the moment. But I can talk more about BattleCon Online if you want. Do you guys want to hear more about BattleCon Online and it's Rocky and Sordid Fate,
Sure.
or however you pronounce it.
Go ahead and talk
all the things that have gone into it. No, it's actually coming along really well. Like we're at the point where matches are being played out, and they're still kind of text format. What they're doing today is they're hooking the UI into the engine, so that when those text commands come back, that we have a graphic representation of characters moving on the board. But just Schecter and Eligor are just about playable at this point. And yeah, our programmer Chad just walked by the window and nodded to me and gave me a thumbs up. So everything I'm telling you is in fact true. So, but yeah, we hope to have.
That's good.
Yeah, sometimes he just walks by and gives me these these death stares. But yeah, we should have it playable in about 6 weeks at this point. That's what I'm shooting for, is 6 weeks.
Ooh.
And players who are in BattleCON Online will be able to test it out. Players who are in our playtest forums will probably be able to test the really raw alpha a few weeks earlier than that. And so I don't know exactly where we are on hooking in the UI and stuff, but hopefully we'll have Schecter and Eligor playable on our playtesting forums in a few weeks. So that's our goal. But yeah, BattleCON Online, it's going to come out. We're going to start with 10 characters. You're going to be able to play ranked matches against anybody in the world. If you want to do like player matches, then you can purchase characters to add to your collection permanently, or we'll have a rotating roster every month. So the characters that are available for ranked matches that we're going to have free play with are going to rotate every month, kind of in the League of Legends style. So you'll be able to try everybody, and if you want to use them outside of their introduction period, then you can purchase them and add them to your account. Is that all? Follow pretty?
That's a lot of information. That helps a lot. Give me one moment. I have to fix a couple of problems we had
With the fanfics?
Yeah, for some reason texts are not going to display. Can you actually?
You can just email it to me or share it on Google Drive with my email, and I will check it out.
I'll just share the folder with you. Give me a moment. Gotta go to Google Drive.
But I can. I'll just answer another question then while you figure that out.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's see. I feel that Boris needs to stay not a character, so that he and Kavri share permanent NPC status.
Dare him!
I've kept shooting down Kavri as a playable fighter because she's like a dedicated healer. But she will be in Champions of Indians, which we are still working on, and which we are hoping to produce next year. The miniatures for Argent turned out really good, so our experiment with miniatures is successful, and we're going to try and do more miniatures games in the future. So for those who haven't heard, Champions of Indians is the miniatures game where you play with your friends against one player who controls like a giant boss. So it's a raid boss battle game. Is a good way to put it. So you and your friends, you build your characters, you take on this giant raid boss, and Kavri is one of the fighters that's available in that. And she is kind of the group healer battery type character, and also can do a bit of tanking with like bark skin and self heals and regeneration and stuff like that. Let's see.
You are apparently the master of ventriloquism.
Am I?
Yeah.
I think that's the well. You're the real. You guys are the real masters of ventriloquism because I saw your movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I showed him Snack Time with. Oh my God! What the is this? It's bizarre. I have sent you a share link for the entire folder. Did you get it?
Let me check my email here. Okay. Yes. BattleCon fanfic contest and. Yes, I need permission. Oh, because my main email is not my level 99 games at Gmail. So you'll have to send to this. Yeah, confirm the one that I just sent you, and then I should be good to go.
Let me get there and boom. Maybe no.
So Frogman Mike 14 wants to know if you have played BattleCon Outcasts.
I have not played the game. I've looked over the characters though, so I'm familiar with the game and the characters. I have not actually played it, unfortunately. Yeah. So I know I've been neglecting to print out my own copy. So
print out your own copy.
BattleCon Outcast is a fan-made expansion. So it's a couple of new characters that have been created and balanced by the community. It's actually kind of a precursor to Wanderers, which is kind of the official fan expansion. So Outcast is sort of the unofficial fan expansion, and and it has some really cool character concepts and ideas in it. So they actually invented the boss mode before we did, and I asked Jesse, the guy that runs it, if we could use his multiplayer mode and his boss mode as the official game modes. So in War we actually had this really clunky multiplayer mode in the original War, and we adopted their mode of multiplayer for Devastation, and it worked out way better.
Well, that's
Nice.
cool.
All right, I have approved you. There is nothing holding us back. We
All
are
right,
ready.
here we go then.
I am gonna commit it to just your face. I want you to be the focus of this.
Okay. Oh man. All right. And you've vetted all these, that they're all above board and nothing like, I mean. All right.
So
family friendly. That's my only filter.
I have to admit one thing. I have not read a word. I was saving it for you. I had to organize, as in Kindle could not get off work until today.
Did you send me those yet?
So you have no idea what I'm reading, or if this is like even censored or anything.
Nope. Self-censorship. Here we go.
Oh,
Welcome to the internet.
Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna stop if if something terrible happens though.
All right. To be fair, if something terrible happens, here's what you have to do.
All right.
Make it about hugs and cuddles.
All right.
Self-censorship. You can do it. I believe in you.
Okay.
Heart of the cards.
So, which one are you going to do first? Each one of them has their title and their author.
Okay.
Do you want to go ahead and do the BattleCON Batman one?
Let's do Terminator 2.
All right. That was the
Belmont's
first
Day.
one.
All right. So
That was actually the first one we got.
Okay. Whew. So this is a Clive X Terminator fanfic. Wow. Am I really doing this? Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Clive Melmont, everyone's favorite robot boy, was skipping rocks by a quiet pond, contemplating whether or not he's ever dreamed about electric sheep, when a thunderous thunderclap thundered behind him, thunderously. I added that last one. He turned to see his mentor, Luke Von Gott, appearing out of nowhere, riding in a strange vehicle with the word DeLorean written on it. Clive watched as a frantic Luke hurriedly rushed out of the vehicle and ran towards him. Clive, you've got to go back! Luke maniacally shouted like a maniac. Back? Back where? Clive inquired in an inquisitive sort of way. To the future! I mean, to the past! Luke quickly corrected himself. You've got to go back and save John Connor. He's the only hope for the future. Here, use my time machine, he said, throwing a set of keys at his robot apprentice. But bring it back with a full tank, he added, laughing hysterically while slapping his own knee over and over and over. When he finally caught his breath from laughing, he cleared his throat, placed a hand on Clive's shoulder, and said, but seriously, full tank and not a scratch. Clive, while still very confused about what was happening, sat down in the driver's seat. How does this thing work? He asked his bewildering mentor. Oh, it works great, Luke bellowed. Just had her in the quantum mechanic for a tune-up. She purrs like a kitten now. That's not exactly what I was asking, Clive mumbled. Anyways, just push this button here and then pull that lever and make sure, whatever you do, you never press that button over there, he explained without using any hand gestures or pointing to anything.
Okay, I'm spotting.
I leave this in your capable mechanical hands. I must be off. I'm late for a tea party. He smiled for a moment, showing every tooth in his mouth, then ran zigzaggedly away into the distance. This must be the intro to 7-Card Slugfest. Like, this is preview montage.
I guess.
Okay, all right. Clive stared at the bells, whistles, buttons, and levers inside his machine. Well, he said with that crooked smile he sometimes practiced in front of the mirror, here goes nothing.
Oh, hold on. I think it looks something like this.
Okay, so section break. All right. Everything had happened so fast after pushing that first button that Clive had no idea whether it had worked or not. He stepped out of the DeLorean and took a look around at his surroundings around him. It appeared he was now standing outside of a biker bar in the middle of a low-income urban slum. He also noticed that he was no longer wearing any clothes. What the? How did that happen? His mentor had mentioned nothing about the clothing not traveling back in time with him. But then again, he also never mentioned a lot of important details. All Clive knew was that he had to save someone named John Connor. Better start asking around. As Clive entered the bar, all the patrons stopped what they were doing and stared at him. The sight of a naked person was not all that shocking. There were a lot of bad drugs in the area, and people tended to do a lot of dumb things. It was the fact that Clive, while mostly anatomical or correct, was missing certain parts a normal naked male individual normally has when he is entering a bar naked.
Oh, freckles.
Excuse me, Clive said, in a baffling attempt to get the attention of the people who were already giving him their full attention. I'm looking for someone named John Connor. Wasn't he the father on Roseanne? Someone shouted from the back. No, that was Dan Connor playing by John Goodman, you idiot, another man retorted. Isn't he dead now? Asked a woman who was missing a few fingers on both of her hands. No, you're thinking of John Candy. Common mistake, said the man in a wheelchair getting a lap dance. Clive stared silently. He did not understand a single reference that these people were making. He was considering slinking back outside like a slinky in the night when someone spoke up from a darkened corner of the bar. Hey, the stranger said. I'm John Connor. Who wants to know? The stranger leaned out of the shadows, and Clive could see that the voice belonged to a 10-year-old boy.
I do want to point out there was a word that was skipped, and it was teddy bear.
Yes. So you're reading along at home. For those of you reading along at home, my name is Clive Melmont. I'm a robot from the future, or maybe a parallel universe in the future. It's hard to explain. There are werewolves and robots and dragons where I come from. Just accept it, move on, and get into my DeLorean. I'm going to save you, Clive explained in a rather startling and unsettled manner. You show up here naked and you want me, a 10-year-old boy, to get into your pitmobile so you can save me? John asked, pointing out every unsettling aspect of the scenario. And what exactly are you supposed to be saving me from? A lifetime without repressed memories? Clive thought for a moment how to answer this question, since he himself did not know what he was supposed to save this young man from. While pondering this and carefully deciding how he should word his next few sentences, one of the walls of the bar exploded in a fiery explosion of fire and bricks, and people who were sitting at tables next to that wall. When the smoke cleared, there was a man wearing a police uniform standing there. I'm looking for John Connor, said the cop in a very creepy, emotionless tone. Wasn't he the father on Roseanne? Someone shouted from the back of the bar, and everyone laughed, even the cop who really shouldn't have gotten the joke because he wasn't there either. Let me guess, said John, slipping on what appeared to be a double rum and coke, despite being a 10-year-old. You're here to save me too? No, said the cop. I'm here to kill you. Suddenly his hands turned into giant metal blades as if he were some kind of malleable liquid metal that was 1,000 times cooler than regular metal. He started running straight at the boy at an incredible speed, using the perfect running form. He was so aerodynamic that it was insane. This is it, Clive thought. This is what I'm supposed to save John Connor from. Using his rocket boots, Clive launched forward, placing himself directly between the liquid metal cop and the young boy he was sent back to protect. It occurred to Clive while he stood there, bravely defiant, acting as a hero in his most heroic moment, that he was still naked. That one shameful instance where he took his mind off his opponent to consider his exposed body provided the metal cop with the opening he needed. He slashed and pierced, swiped and stabbed, cut and pasted, and stunned the unprepared robot boy. Clive lay on his back, blinking as if he had dust in both eyes. He was no match for the super metal robot cop, who also appeared to be from the future. He knew that in his current condition he could never hope to beat this guy. He held his hands up, making a T symbol with his hands, the universal signal for timeout. He got to his feet and started walking outside the bar. The cop, very confused over whether a timeout could be called, yelled after him. Wait, what are you doing? Clive looked back over his shoulder, smiling that crooked smile, and said, I'll be back. All the patrons at the bar started hooting and hollering as if something really amazing had just been said. A few moments after Clive left, the sounds of drilling and whirring, hammers banging, and ratchet clicking could be heard echoing from the outside. The noises of tools were then replaced by the sound of heavy footsteps approaching the bar. When Clive re-entered, he was now fully upgraded. He had extendable arms, core shielding, even an upgraded barrier chip. He aimed every weapon he had available at the liquid cop's head and shouted, Hasta la vista, baby, as he blew that guy to Kingdom Come. Whew, okay, section break. Wow.
So
But it does,
while you're While you're taking the section break, in the comments of our chat, I posted a public link for all the fanfics. There's some weird Google Plus stuff going on that's not letting me post it as a comment on YouTube. Could you post it as a comment on YouTube?
If you've shared it publicly, it's on your drive, so I don't think I can.
It is shared publicly. I put the public link in our little group chat. If you go there, you'll see it.
Okay. Well, I'll do it at the end of.
Okay.
Yeah, because why let them read ahead, right? That would be cheating.
True.
Okay. Last section of this one. All right. When the dust settled and the patrons were all rushed to the hospital, John Connor sat down on the curb next to Clive. I just wanted to say thank you, for saving my life. It's all right, said Clive. It's what I was sent back to do, so I guess the mission accomplished. I suppose you'd be going back now, eh? John said with a sad sort of tone, almost as if he was sad. Nope, said Clive out of the corner of his mouth. I dismantled the DeLorean to make all those upgrades. Looks like I'm stuck here in your world. Ah, well, it's not such a bad place. I suppose things could be worse. Suddenly, wave after wave of evil robots built on the termination of the human race marched into the street carrying John Goodman's head on a pike. No one can stop us, one of the machines yelled. Far, far away, in a parallel universe in the future, Luke Von Gott sips his tea with a hare and a mouse. He looks up at the sky thoughtfully and says, I did say Dan Connor, didn't I?
What?
That
a literal F. Like that was
beautiful.
This is pretty outlandish. That was surprisingly well written though. Whew.
Oh.
I shouldn't say that. People are going to wonder how the visual novel game is going to be if I consider these to be good writing.
Well, obviously that is an excellent fanfic that deserves to be on fanfiction.net.
Yes, hey, the grammar, punctuation, spelling, is all excellent. Great fanfic.
I hate to say it, I think you should make a special edition of the visual novel that has that as just like a chapter in it.
we'll have to have some outtakes for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
I would like to emphasize, everyone who entered, please put this fanfiction on fanfiction.net. There is currently no BattleCON fanfiction on there at all, which it's a shame. That was perfect. It should be on there.
I'll leave that to the authors to decide. But
yes.
But yeah, it's
beautiful.
All right. Any comments that we want to take before we go to the next one?
Just the one from Eric Cooper Flowers that says this is going to be glorious.
Yes.
Fabio says I need to work on my Arnold impression.
Yeah.
Well, Fabio, I was talking for the T1000. And then I only realized halfway through that wasn't Arnold.
Yes.
Someone wants to know if there's any chance of a Pixel Tactics video game. Pixel Tactics.
Yes, we're still planning on Super Pixel Tactics. That is something that we've got the specs for planned out, but we're still working on BattleCON Online. So once BattleCON Online's finished up, that'll probably be our next big project.
All right. Well, that answers that.
I would like to point out that you can get a box set of both Spell Swords and Pixel Tactics from the Level 99 store on pre-order right now.
That's a low blow, man.
I'm gonna punch you through the internet like right now, like just.
Ow!
So Ninja Spider-Man meets Jet Aria by.
I had to provide my own title. There was no title provided for that one.
Okay, so you titled this.
I had to title that one.
I will admit, I read through this one just a little bit. I only read like the first paragraph, and I kind of agree with Eric Cooper Flowers right now. I think this is gonna be glorious.
Okay. All right. So the author begins, and actually this author is one of the guys that's made a lot of comments on the site. So if you want to join in and leave your take with us.
Yeah, I did invite him.
Okay, so he's got an invitation in his email. So if you wanted to join us and chat, Or if you want to remain anonymous, that's cool too. But all right, let's do this. Let me tell you a tale, dear viewers, and I know you're not viewers, says the writer. A tale of woe, loss, love, and shadow. A potent combination, whether shaken or stirred. My drink was neither as I surveyed the seedy bar. Nothing was as it seemed in these parts. Sure, some lowlifes like the spoony bards were to be expected in a dive like this. At least the mama's boy plucking the harp was quiet. His what could only be described as a tonal violation of what I am sure was perfectly undeserving catgut was almost completely drowned out by the shrilling death throes of his partner on the recorder. At least we hoped he was dying based on dissonant trills proceeding from his tool. Thrust on school children worlds over as a cruel joke, the recorder is the only instrument in the history of creation meant to sound terrible enough to destroy their self-esteem, enough to make them quit music forever. Tragically, our bard was ever undaunted in the face of the misery of all of our faces. Truly, dear viewers, and I know you're not viewers, the cackle of demons feasting on my very soul while scratching a chalkboard would have been blissful relief. So much for the entertainment.
Pause really quick. Pause, because I have to admit, this bard, this plucky bard here, he's a badass apparently.
This is definitely Trias and Dravel, I feel.
This mama's boy is also simultaneously a badass. Like, this guy's awesome.
Okay.
I want to build him in Pathfinder and then play him.
Aside from a grammatical error and some weird repeating, that's a beautiful first paragraph.
I think that's the point. Anyway, let's carry on.
Yeah.
Imagine my utter dismay as I turned back to the barkeep to see Goober McBowtie staring back at me. With hair about as greasy as he wanted to look classy, his cracked knuckles and the wanderlust in his eye told me that his refinement went about as deep as his tan. Someone not worth the trouble, looking to be trifled with. The lady tells me there may be a problem here, he said, trying, I'm sure, to sound intimidating but subtle. I bet he thought the music was subtle as well. Ah, is this what happened to my beautiful bonsai? Fair enough. My leafy courtesan had been coy at first, letting me think I was taking the lead as she reeled me in, but it takes a bit more than some flirtatious foliage to get me to drop my guard. Nice dryads and seedy bars are generally not so nice in the end. She must have thought me a sap, thinking she could have me pine after her. But things turned a bit wooden when she noticed me plucking a red rose from her buxom bounty while she spiked my drink with some green nectar, the same drink I was still nursing now. Oh well, I wasn't here to make friends anyway.
The puns! The puns!
So we got Aberrane now. Okay, so these are all the votable characters I think you're going to appear before this is over. Hey, pal, we got a problem, or you want something else? My most petulant publican prodded. No problems, my good barkeep. In fact, I'll take a bottle of your strongest stuff. Make it a real knockout. Glad at the opportunity to peddle his swill, and glibly grumbling about me not finishing my first drink, he descended into the cellar. I had half a mind to lock the door behind him, but now is not the time for making scenes. Surveying the pub once more, I noticed the beggar girl, to whom I had tossed a few coins when I first entered, now warming herself by the fire. Perhaps she was smarter than I gave her credit for. Not only was the fireplace the furthest from the bards, but maybe she hoped the crackling wood would drown out the mellifluous tones of our euphonic entertainers. Mellifluous and euphonic being in quotes. All right. There's 2 pages left of this one. Let's see. Continuing my survey, I spotted my bonsai plying her trade on a new victim. A veritable beast of a man, he seemed very amused with the dryad's devices as he blew smoke rings to her feigned delight. I wondered if anyone else noticed that his cigar wasn't lit. Catching my gaze, he nodded confidently, challengingly. I blew a smoke ring of my own from my pipe and bowed my head to acknowledge his mastery of the skill. No need for disrespect. One should never unnecessarily perturb a sleeping dragon after all. He seemed satisfied, and his attention reverted to the live lady before him. Well, don't you have a way with people, said a woman sitting in the shadows at the end of the bar. Obscured by the darkness, all I could see was the glowing tip of her cigarette at the end of a long filter. She made her way toward me. Her steps were smooth but sure, her eyes seductive but steely. Fearless but feminine, she was as formidable as she was fair. Taking a seat next to me, her raspy voice still echoed in my head. As the cigarette and pipe smoke lazily floated about our heads, it felt as if the rest of the world just faded away. The music gave way to just silence, her voice and giggles. Time stood, flew, still or flew, who could tell? My heart was no longer in mine. I nearly lost myself that night. Leave it to the translucent tapster to ruin everything and save me. Hiding a maniacal menace about as well as bikini hides a plump girl's hiding a maniacal menace about as well as a bikini hides a plump girl's figure. He slammed a large bottle of his best stuff, a homebrew recipe, on the bar, drawing me back to reality. One swig of this, he grandiosely proclaimed, and you won't know what hit you until morning. Maybe not even then. If only he could have appreciated the irony then. I guess it's time then, I said, staring one last time into those seemingly bottomless eyes of my new companion, pocketing my pipe, perhaps in another reality. With that, I conjured up a large force field and launched out our musically disinclined minstrels, slamming them into the wall behind them. Finally, some relief, I said, looking at what I thought would be the approving crowd. Guess not. All right, buddy, that's it, I heard shouted from what I presumed to be the irate barkeeper, who I imagine had taken the time to roll up his sleeves to fight me. Sadly, he never got the chance, for as he grabbed my collar to turn me around, I grasped the bottle he had recently produced for me and smashed it across the side of his head. He was right, though. He never knew what hit him. Recognizing what a full-on slugfest was about to break out, I had to move quickly. Taking a healthy drop from my original beverage, I locked lips with my new femme fatale friend, spewing the tainted tonic down her throat. She was in my arms, but was still breathing as she reverted to her true form. And just in time, as I had ducked to dodge a blast of flame, seems my sweet bonsai had enticed our dragon friend to take me out. I was a little insulted since he did not even bother to stand, but I appreciated the underestimation. He launched another salvo, but being better prepared this time, I used my force field to deflect it back at my little I guess bonfire might be more appropriate now. Truly enraged now, the monster of man rose, smoke and anger seething from him. Quickly, I cast a force field around his head. The smoke and billowing flames only served to limit his sight and oxygen further. But dragons are not so easily smitted. He came crashing right at me. To call him a bull in a china shop would be insulting to him and far too ameliorative to the bar. He was more like a rampaging dragon in a piece of crap bar. However, he fell. That just left me and the beggar girl. Please don't, I said, pleading with my eyes. Her eyes, however, were aflame as the ash from the fireplace, and now burning bar began to swirl around her. You're a bad person. Bad people just destroy things. I'm sure she tried to finish that sentence, but the reality is she did nothing. With a large flash of light and a powerful burst, the coins I previously had given her burst in her pockets. Not true bombs, nor were they fatal, but they were more than enough to keep even a phoenix down. Taking out my pipe, I lit it with some burning rubble. I'm a bad person, right. Just found a dryad, rasp, and dragon, and endured the moans of those alleged musicians to save the world from terribly destructive relics. I'm the bad guy. I'm not even supposed to do this. I'm a technician, not a hunter. Don't even have backup. As I hopped over the remains of the bar, I reached for my prize on the shelf labeled Belt of Beatdown. Classy. In reality, it was a relic from a time gone by that could rend space itself. Time to take you to the reliquary, I said, relieved that everything had gone according to plan. But my hand phased right through it. A hologram? Leaving the bar and a trail of smoke from my pipe behind me, I headed west, lost in thought. Hologram, Seraphina, relic, aria. Rudica! And so it ends.
I do want to point out that Level 99 Games in no way endorses smoking or underage drinking.
Absolutely, absolutely not.
You should definitely not do that stuff.
It's bad.
Please do.
It's the worst thing ever.
It's not the worst thing ever. I mean, you know, it could be worse. but wow. Okay, but that one wasn't a crossover. Somebody broke the rules.
No, that was a crossover. The person who was doing all of that was Deadpool.
Was it? Was it? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, it was submitted as a Deadpool crossover. The issue is just that in the way Deadpool comics work, he refers. It's all his own internal.
Okay.
I think. So in order for
Monologue.
it to work, he couldn't say Deadpool.
I'm pretty sure that's Amon
Well, yeah.
from the votable character list, but
I don't know. I was here. Let me check.
maybe Amon is also Deadpool. That's a
That could be real.
who's the black guy? The
Let-
black
let
guy
me
list
check.
was Berman from the vote. They're all these characters that appeared were the votable character list, plus Amon, who everyone thinks is my personal character.
All right, so this one was okay. So the email sent was Ninja Info Podcast. Thanks for hosting the fanfiction contest. I hope it gets you more publicity and helps out Brad's projects as well. I hope you found my story enjoyable. I certainly had fun writing it. I was trying to channel Deadpool doing noir, which is in itself a nod towards one of the stretch goals for Brad's project. It is written from the first-person perspective, anticipating Brad's reading, since the character telling the story is supposedly Brad if he were a character in his own fictional universe.
So it's a crossover between Brad and.
Yeah. Okay.
So okay.
It's a crossover in between Brad and Level 99 Game, or Level 99 Games and BattleCon. Also,
I enjoyed that one quite a bit. So
yes.
Oh, so someone says I'm a musicology graduate student, and I think the Bard might be one of the undergrads here.
Oh man. Okay. Well, we've got two left, I think. That's right? Two left.
That is right. Two left.
Why can't I see the other two? I can only see the two that you just read.
All right. If you're looking in the Hangout window, you cannot see the other two.
I'm gonna grab a drink of water before we continue, because this is taking out my voice.
Yes, it does.
Give me about 2 minutes, and I'll be right back.
Okay. In fact, why don't we just say we take a 2-minute break? Because I also have to take care of the thing. So, gentlemen, we will be right back. Please enjoy our empty chairs while Kendall sings "The Beat Goes On."
I don't know how. What? I don't know how to sing that song.
Well, Kendall, tell a story for a moment. I'll be back in like 30 seconds.
Okay. So once upon a time, there were two bunnies named Flippity Flop and Jumpkins. Then they died.
No,
End.
not that story. The other story.
Oh. Which other? What? Empty chairs. They're so empty and chair-like. Empty chairs. I can't see CW's chair. I guess that's not too bad, I guess. Yeah. Empty dead air. Liking it. It's awesome. It's happening right now. Some dead space on the internet. It's totally happening. Yeah. Opening the YouTube app. Oh, I can't. That stinks. Let me play the video I have. I'll post it up there for everyone.
I heard you did a horrible job. How dare you?
I did bad. It was terrible, and life is bad.
No way.
You
way.
Ouch, ouch. I hit the
Exact same time. Only.
floor. All right.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Here.
I'm back. Everything's okay now. What's up?
We
I'm not-
literally both just got back at the same time, and
Yeah.
apparently I hung Kindle out to dry. So
Yeah, I sang a song about being on dead air. And it was,
I'll have to
I
go
was
back
like,
and watch the
I'm on-
replay.
Yeah,
it's on
me
some
too.
it's on some dead air, yeah. Like
all right, so
2 minutes of silence on the internet, like it's general reprieve from the insanity of online culture. Like it's
yeah, so we have
Indeed.
two more. Untitled document in that folder is technically one. That's
Okay. Oh well,
So-
the two untitled ones are the same, right?
So we had Untitled. That Untitled one was me copying over Blatantly Stupid Nonsense by William Lee.
Okay.
Well,
I don't know if we should read off the authors' names without them wanting to. I mean the submissions should were kind of to be anonymous. I think so.
I am
Sorry.
sorry, William Lee. I guess William Lee, you are now permanently associated with this.
If you leave a comment real quick and tell me not to read this, then I'll respect that. Now that a name's been spoiled. Otherwise, I'll get started.
All right. Which one shall it be? Which?
They're both the
with-
same,
go-
right?
I want to see
No.
Blatantly Stupid
No,
Nonsense. I want
Okay.
to read
All
that
right.
one.
If you
All right.
I do
refresh,
actually.
you'll see that there's only 4 documents there. I went ahead and moved the duplicate
Okay.
trash.
All right. All right.
To explain, the reason I also mentioned the name is because he was the one who asked in the comments about his fanfic being over the limit. He agreed to section his off.
Okay. So should I just read the second section?
Yeah,
Or,
you can see each section.
I could probably read. I mean, we're
will-
not on a time schedule here, right? We could stay
No.
we can stay for another hour if we want,
Yeah.
right?
I will let
I'll
you
just read the whole
choose each section to read if you like. But
Okay.
he said if you wanted section 1 is only 400 words tops, establishes setting. Doesn't have any BattleCon content though, so you don't have to select.
That's fine. All right, let's see how this goes. I gotta work on my dramatic reading. Fontes is much better than me. He reads all my dramatic voice. Let's see if I can do a dramatic Portuguese accent.
Fabio just said, "Listen,
Only like
crickets,
400
everybody."
words. No, I can't even attempt to do Fabio's voice. He's so much better than me. All right, I'll just concede defeat and move on. Section 1. Only like 400 words tops. Establish a setting. 0 BattleCon content. Probably don't select this. The time was midnight. The bridge between the 2 buildings was, in a rare change of pace, not littered with bodies or bullet casings. Nothing was even on fire, even with the time as late as it was. Such a moment of peace was rare. The interior of the building owned by Red, R-E-D capitalized, was just as lax. 3 people sat around a table holding playing cards, while a 4th is calling me on the phone right now. I don't know who this is, but I'll silence it for now, and I'll say, I'll call you later. Sorry. I should probably, there we go. Actually, who was that from? That might be my printer in Florida. I may need to. No, it's from Maryland, so it's somebody totally different. Okay. If you just called me right now, I'll call you back in like an hour. Okay, where were we? Right, 3 people sat around a table holding playing cards, while a 4th was content to roast hot dogs on a campfire. Nobody bothered to tell them off for starting a campfire indoors. I raise, declared the one in a white doctor's outfit. Ah, heck, I fooled, I guess. The one in overalls and a yellow helmet put his cards on the table. Why not? I call, said the one-eyed one with a vest pointing a challenging finger at the doctor. The doctor smiled confidently and turned his cards to face the table. He had a full house, 2 5s and 3 8s. The one-eyed one barked a laugh in return, revealing his hand of 4 6s and a jack, and eliciting a groan of frustration and the bet from the doctor. This is why I don't normally play. You're too cautious until you suddenly aren't. That's what it takes in my line of work, boyo. That's what it takes in my line of work, boyo. The one in overalls chuckled softly. Demo Man's at least fun to play against, even if you lose. You want to deal us in, Pyro? He offered, turning to one at the campfire dons in a gas mask and a fireproof suit. The voiced reply was as indiscernible as ever, but the dismissive hand wave said enough. Demo Man, the one-eyed one, scoffed. I'm not even sure the poor lad can read the cards, Engineer. Engineer shrugged and reached to gather all the cards, but the next match was interrupted by a deafening explosion from a couple of rooms off. All four immediately reached under the table, grabbed their weapons of choice. Demo Man barked out an order. Medic, on me! Engineer, Pyro, take the side paths. Don't let the bastards out. So this is clearly a Team Fortress 2 crossover, I feel. I feel for those of our fans who are Team Fortress 2 players, which I'm also not, but I got it by the end. So this is way cool. But I got the yeah. Anyway, all right. Section 2, 1,480 words. BattleCON character meets TF2 mercs. It's all right, I guess. The internal room was a mess. Overturned chairs and bits of machinery, which Engineer quickly deduced as the remains of his teleporter, littered the area, and black scorch marks adorned the area where it once was. However, the sentry gun was still completely active and had registered no targets, a fact that was doubly surprising considering the fact that there was a woman coughing up a storm in the middle of the mess. All four mercenaries just stood and stared, unsure of exactly how this occurred. Okay, that was probably not supposed to happen, she muttered to herself once the coughing fit ended. She stood up and brushed herself off, and the mercenaries immediately took note of her strange two-tone tunic and wild pink hair. Oi, does this look like a disco to you? Get out of here, Demo Man shouted, gesturing with his grenade launcher to reinforce the command. It was only at this point the woman took note of where she was. Wait, oh no, this isn't Argent at all. I screwed up the teleport spell, didn't I? Professor Crane is going to tank my score. The fact that four men with strange weapons were yelling at her to do things appeared not to bother her so much as her grade. Hold on, Medic advanced, turning off his shot medigun for a second. Excuse me, Fraulein. The woman stopped wringing her hands in distress and turned to Medic. His accent was strange, almost straight out of a documentary on Geoffrian history. Who? Me? That's not my name. The Medic ignored the comment. You shouldn't be here. This is a war zone. How did you get here? Probably took the teleporter, Doc. Though not intentionally from the looks of it, Engineer surveyed the wreckage around the woman in disappointment. That had taken him the better part of the afternoon to get working. Yes, that sounds right. I was casting a teleportation spell for a class at Argent University, and I must have gotten the incantation a bit off, and the woman stopped and corrected herself. What I mean is, I was banished here by an evil warlock who was jealous of the dark eldritch knowledge of Lysandra. Whoa! Hold on there, little lady, Engineer interrupted. No names, company policy, even for civilians, especially for civilians. Just your professional due. For example, you can call me Engineer. He tipped his helmet in greeting. I am the medic here, stated the medic, standing stiffly at attention as he did so. The Demo Man didn't introduce himself, just stared at his teammates incredulously. Are you all daft? Why are you introducing yourselves to a witch? Hey, I'm a summoner, thank you very much, Lysandra shot back indignantly. She is clearly not hostile, Demo Man, and even if she turns out to be a spy, there is only one of her and four of us. Manners, please, chided the medic. Well, now she already knows that what you call me. So what's the bloody point? Demo Man took out his favorite bottle and started pulling from it heavily, clearly done with the conversation. My Irish-English accents are... Unless somebody says boyo, I can't. Unless they say boyo in a sentence, I can't hold it. Well, now she already knows what to call me, so what's the bloody point, boyo? Demo Man took out his favorite bottle and started pulling from it heavily, clearly done with the conversation. Nice to meet you, too, and Lysandra gestured at Pyro, hiding in the doorway with both gloved hands on the frame. Engineer shrugged. Everybody just calls him Pyro. Nice to meet you, Summoner. He extended his own hand, and Lysandra took it and shook it awkwardly. So, I'd like to get back to Argent soon. Finals are coming up. You, Engineer, you said you had a teleporter? Engineer shook his head. Had being the operative word. Afraid your mistake totaled this one. I can get it up and running, get you back home, no problem, but it'll just take some time. Probably be done by sunup. In the meantime, Fraulein Summoner, advised Medic, gesturing for her to follow, This is still a war zone. I strongly recommend you find a place to hide in the event that the blue mercenaries choose to attack. We will do our best to defend you. Speak for yourself, muttered Demo Man. But we cannot guarantee your safety, and the longer you stay here, the less time we can devote to infiltrating their own base and seizing their intelligence. Not that this is on the table anymore. Not that this is on the table anymore, declared a throaty Gesselhimian voice from nowhere in particular. Who's there? Lysandra shouted, starting to summon her familiar in reflex. Not an enemy, which is good for you, summoner. The voice's owner, a thin man in a suit and mask, appeared out of the air just behind Pyro, who waved happily in greeting. I heard the introductions already. You may call me Spy. Enchant. He finished with his natural disdain, painting his every word. No, back up a second, mate. What do you mean it's not on the table? Now he's Australian. Inquired Demo Man from the floor. The Spy lit a cigarette before responding. I mean precisely that. We outnumber them, but their briefcase is under constant watch by absolute brutes of mercenaries. Even with the help of the doctor here, you and Pyro would be dead in seconds. Question, chirped Lysandra, her hand shooting into the air as if in class. What is it? Responded the Spy. What's a briefcase? The 5 mercenaries in the room stared at her in confusion. Spy was the first to respond. That is information we can't give you, summoner, assuming you wish to remain, Engineer interrupted the Spy. Like that little red number on the desk there, except blue. Okay, cool. 2 seconds. Lysandra turned to check out the red briefcase sitting on the desk. Laborer, your cheerful helpfulness is about to get our lovely little guest killed. The Spy drew his favorite butterfly knife with an elaborate flourish. You are a terrible host. Spy, you're being a damn lunatic. Cut that out. Engineer moved between Lysandra, still turned away, and the advancing Spy. Hey, he's the only one talking sense here, returned Demo Man, though he wasn't getting up. The engineer refused to budge. Everyone just calm down and let's talk this over, got it! All 5 mercenaries turned to look at Lysandra, whose hands, still emitting tiny red sparks, were holding a blue briefcase, identical in size and shape to the one behind her. How? Middick startled to say, but any further words were lost in bewilderment. That was easy, really easy. You'd think they hadn't warded it or anything. Lysandra casually threw the intel over her shoulder, landing it on the desk next to the red counterpart. Spy cocked his head in disbelief, then after a long moment put his knife away as elegantly as he had drawn it. You have done well. As long as you don't open up either briefcase, I think we can let you live. Engineer shook his head, although he also relaxed his stance. That's no way to say thank you. Speaking of, thank you kindly, summoner. Demo Man stood up. Don't get too cozy just... No. Boyo, don't get too cozy just yet, ladies. That bit of black magic's going to have the blues madder than a bipolar badger. We'll need to shore up our defenses before they know what's happened. Medic, on me! I've got some demolitions to do. Ha ha ha! His hostility, while it didn't vanish, quickly gave way to a disconcertingly cheery bloodlust, and he took off. Medic looked at the others. Engineer, you work on building your teleporter so Fraulein Summoner can leave. Spy, Pyro, keep an eye out for anything out of the ordinary. Doctor's orders, he concluded, chuckling a tiny bit at his joke, which nobody else dared to echo. He then hurried after Demo Man. Spy and Pyro looked at Lysandra for a moment, then at each other, then took off, each silent as they did so. Engineer was already getting to work, using the scrap from the accident as a starting point. Get along, Summoner. Find yourself somewhere to hide. Lysandra folded her arms. You sure about that? I could fight too, and it sounds like you guys will need a lot of help. Engineer turned away from his work and fixed her with what she assumed must be a very serious stare. Kind of hard to tell with his goggles. Have you ever faced down a pack of ornery mercenaries that don't know fear or mercy? Yeah, that was one of Professor Berman's extracurricular activities. Pretty fun, too. The response wasn't the one the engineer had expected. Oh, then go hog wild, I guess. Just don't get yourself killed. I'm thoroughly enjoying this one as well. So I have to say these have been quite a hit so far. Or all of these have been quite fun. Well, we got section 3. So
I do want to go ahead and mention before you get on to section 3. There was a question as to what the prize was. This was the intended prize, was to watch the creator of the game have to read the crossover fan fiction.
a fan fiction which will be canonized by Brad Talton when he reads it live on Google Hangouts. That kind of thing.
That sort of thing.
You've just made a bunch of fanboys like life. You have just done the thing.
I don't think we're that. I don't think we're that cool. You know, like if
no, I just mean in the future.
If reads your Star Trek fic on live Google Hangouts, then you can just like you can call it in one life. But I don't think I'm that spacious.
So
I think there's going to be that future moment though where some fanboy's like, I wonder if there's any cross fan fiction of this, and then they're gonna listen to this video and just be like, oh my gosh, my life is empty and pointless because I didn't write this and didn't have him read it.
I also want to go ahead and mention that due to a weird mix-up with how Google Plus works, it separated my YouTube account from my Google Plus account. So if you do want to subscribe and see more videos, you have to actually go to a different channel.
Huh, that's weird. But the YouTube again. Why don't you just update the comments for the video in the aftermath, and you can put on the link to the correct subscription.
So just beware. If you never see any more updates from this channel, it's not that I hate you. That's what happened. Because I just got something saying that somebody subscribed.
Okay.
It's gonna be awkward for them.
Well, you can always get YouTube customer service to merge it over, I guess.
I can try.
All right.
They've done weird stuff with our AdSense too. Anyway, moving on.
Okay, so we got I think we have about let's see.
I think you have two sections left.
3, 4. We have 5 pages left of this, and we've gone through about 4 so far. I'll see you guys tomorrow. People heading out of the office. It's 5 o'clock over here. So, all right, so here goes. Section 3.1, 881 or so words. Sorta actiony, I guess. Also, Borneo continues to be a mocking bag. The red base wasn't exceptionally hard to navigate, and Lysandra quickly found herself at the entrance outside. Just ahead was a massive bridge extending far to her right. She knelt down and muttered the incantation that calls the summoners familiar, now second nature to her. Brah! Within seconds, her devoted familiar Borneo had appeared. The pink penguin was small, unassuming, and quick to complain, but nonetheless, Lysandra appreciated his presence, though she'd never openly admit it. Keep an eye out for anyone trying to attack me. Borneo immediately peeked out from behind the crate blocking her view of the bridge, then turned and saluted, presumably indicating its safety. Satisfied, Lysandra took a step out and, whoa, out of the way! 1.5 seconds later, Lysandra and the stranger were in a tangled heap on the ground, with Borneo hurrying over to pull her loose. You had one job, she scolded him, while the stranger, a lean young man in a blue-shirted baseball cap, was swearing and trying to leap to his feet. Ain't you ever listened when people tell you to, The stranger's reprimands were cut short as he noticed who he had run into. Lysandra got to her feet and looked him over. He reminded her of a certain illusionist he saw back at Argent. Or she knew back at Argent. Hey, gorgeous, already head over heels for me? It happens to lots of girls. I'm the scout. He immediately went into a kind of awkward flexing stance, which Lysandra did her best not to laugh at. Borneo didn't bother with the self-restraint and started rolling on the floor, laughing madly. In penguin laughs, I guess, which I'm not going to read or attempt to imitate.
Yeah, more or less like Penguin from the Batman laughing.
Okay. That's great. Go away. I'm supposed to be watching out for mercenaries, and you're disturbing my concentration. She tried to shoo him off with a dismissive hand wave, but Scout had none of it. Watching for mercenaries? That's cute. You're a real cutie. Don't worry, because you found one right here, baby. Scout continued with his flexing. But what he had said caught Lysandra by surprise. This was one of the big bad mercenaries everyone was so afraid of. Borneo, please handle our guest, she intoned, only half expecting him to be effective. Borneo took the command with some incredulity, but no more than he did any time Lysandra asked him to fight on her behalf. He leapt right for Scout's face, squawking and clawing at the eyes. Ah, friggin' get off of me! Scout leapt back, trying to push Borneo off of his face, but having little success. Lysandra took the time to begin another summoning, this time something more serious. While she did that, Scout withdrew a baseball bat from a pouch on his back and finally succeeded in pushing Borneo off of his face. Borneo fluttered in the air, but his wings weren't much good for doing anything other than hovering in place. Stupid chicken, I'm gonna mess you up. Batter! He leaned back, confident that Borneo wouldn't be able to move anywhere, quickly enough to dodge, and put his entire body into one mighty swing. with a loud bink noise. The bat connected, and Borneo screeched in pain as he was sent flying over the fence behind Lysandra. She didn't hear him land, but knew the damage wouldn't be fatal, as summoned creatures are notoriously hard to kill. She felt a bit guilty about him taking the hit, though. Scout relaxed for a second, not remotely used to this kind of warfare. Alright, I don't usually hit girls, but that really pissed me off. So just for you, I'm going to make an exception. What the hell is that? Lysandra's new summon had finished, and a salamander the size of a crocodile now stood between her and the scout, flicking its forked tongue in and out slowly. Congratulations on defeating my weakest minion, she mocked. Not wanting to take any chances with whatever else Lysandra could summon, the scout opted to take the easy way out, sprinting to the edge of the bridge and grabbing it as he vaulted below. Lysandra could hear his footsteps as he retreated back into the blue base and smiled, happy with her easy win. Congratulations on defeating their weakest minion, she heard Spy remark from below her. She turned to see him leaning against the wall, presumably having been hidden through their fight. Are you sure that wasn't one of their absolute brutes? She retorted. And do you always show up late to everything you do? Someday, mon cher, you'll learn the meaning of dramatic timing. He flicked his finished cigarette to the ground, not bothering to stamp it out. In any event, that little boy is only one of their number, and unquestionably the weakest. He's also unquestionably their most annoying. Lysandra did her best to fix him with an icy, emotionless stare, the sort of menacing sorceress queen would do, but Spy seemed unimpressed. I'm not worried. Like I told your engineer, I've done this before, and I don't care one whit about dramatic cut. Section 3.2, 1,215 words. Actual action. Also, intrigue, lucha libre, and awkwardly abrupt endings because of time limits. Hoo-wah! The battle cry from above them was quickly punctuated by a resounding explosion, sending Lysandra, the spy, and the salamander flying in 3 different directions. The spy cartwheeled back into the building and connected with a wall with a thud, slumping to the floor and staying there. The salamander face-planted onto the open space of the bridge just past them, while Lysandra found herself hanging onto the ledge, having just reacted quick enough to avoid careening into the pit below. You sorry red maggots! Everyone knows not to send women, Frenchmen, or lizardmen into the front lines. Andrew Jackson would be ashamed to have each of you shot for insubordination. Lysandra couldn't see who was shouting, but she had other concerns. She was having some trouble pulling herself up, not being quite as physically adept as some of her other classmates. And the impact from whatever had hit her wasn't doing her stamina any favors. She was doing her best to will the salamander to hurry over and hoist her up, but it wasn't turning up. Do you think I've forgotten about your treacherous schemes, scum of Atlantis? Go back to your octopus king and tell him you have failed! Another explosion, and Lysandra felt her salamander waver. She desperately wanted to pull herself up, but at the same time, she figured the ledge provided an exceptional hiding place, provided her arms wouldn't give out. Unfortunately, she had figured wrong. Marching footsteps overhead signaled the approach of the soldier, and before long she could see his army boots, still smoking and showing the same signs of damage her own outfit did. Did he seriously use his weapon to launch himself forward? Not wanting to think about it, she looked up at the rest of him, mind racing. He was a physically fit fellow who wore a blue military uniform and sported a large weapon of some kind, probably what caused the explosions earlier. He seemed just as surprised by her as she did by him. What are they teaching these spineless red mercs these days? You are out of uniform. You are completely unarmed. You are failing to perform a single pull-up, even with both of your arms intact. If I was running your squad, you wouldn't be able to pull yourself up this ledge with nothing but your outlandish haircut, which I would personally shave bald. I don't have half time to leave you here and let your own weakness finish you off. Did you know, Lysandra shouted back up, and just enough volume to interrupt his tirade, that lobsters don't actually die of old age? She didn't know why she remembered this bit of trivia right now, or what good shouting would do, but it was all she could think of at the time. She continued, not wanting to give him more opportunity to yell, reciting whatever she remembered from her textbooks, while the other half of her mind desperately attempted to summon. It's true! Lobsters are often killed by predators or harvested by humans to eat, but they don't ever die of old age. They just get bigger each time they molt. Surprisingly, this information seemed to get Soldier to back off. He started pacing away, trying to take this information in. Dear God, if it's true, then Atlantis' generals know far too much! They've been around since George Washington personally suplexed their leader into the first Thanksgiving dinner table. He turned back to the ledge and shouted down, Private, you are now prisoner of war and will tell us everything you know about the Atlantean battle plans. Pull yourself up from this ledge this instant, maggot! He glared down at the ledge where Lysandra was mere moments ago. However, there was no sign of her. The chasm below stretched too far into the bottom, even in the best conditions. Finding her at night would be impossible. Damn it! I did not give you permission to fall to your death. Get back up here and fight like a man! Or woman, fight like whichever of the two is more suited to your tactics, because I will not lose another war to gravity itself! Way ahead of you, Lissandra's voice echoed from far above the soldier. He turned to look upward, pushing his helmet only just out of the way, and saw her hovering above him, being carried by some sort of miniature wyvern. Lysandra returned the look with as much disdain as she could muster. That summoning attempt had been nearly as tiring as hanging on to begin with. That said, she wasn't going to give him any time to react. She began to suddenly reverse the energy of the summoning spell. The wyvern wasn't going to last much longer anyway, as carrying her for even a short distance expended most of its energy, but there would be enough for this handy trick Professor Crane had taught her. Pact Breaker! The soldier might not have had any idea of how she had called a wyvern to aid her, but he knew an attack coming when he saw one. He pulled up his rocket launcher as fast as he could and took aim, but a brilliant shower of red sparks from above told him he wouldn't be able to make it in time. Strike! Lysandra shouted, rocketing down at him in a fast-flying elbow drop. With a tremendous cracking sound, she collided with him, the energy of the attack at the same time shielding her from the harm and amplifying the force of the impact towards the soldier, driving him into the ground hard. She quickly got up and began summoning again, this time something that could protect her from whatever he could summon, while he got up and took aim once again, stepping back as he did to give him more room for error. He was foregoing more battle taunts in favor of just screaming wordlessly at her during the concentration, doing her concentration no favors. She didn't think she'd have time to get out of the way, but she wouldn't be able to finish summoning before he fired. With a whoosh, a lick of flame erupted from the front, heralding the rocket now flying right at her. Lysandra couldn't do more than throw her hands in front of her face ineffectually, but out of nowhere, a sudden blast of air roared from behind her, sending the rocket careening back at the soldier, who wasn't expecting the Deus Ex Machina any more than Lysandra was. The rocket exploded at his feet, sending him sailing across the bridge and well out of sight. The threat was gone for a moment. Lysandra concluded her summon, and a towering suit of armor now stood before her, ready to intercept any further rockets. She turned to look behind her and saw the pyro standing behind her. He, or she, hard to tell, shouted, holding up one hand. Grateful for the last-minute save, Lysandra returned the high five the pyro presumably wanted. Thanks, I owe you, I guess. And the story ends there, but I think there will be more on fanfiction.net. I think
I hope there is.
That's the to be continued on fanfiction.net, I think is the final line of this.
That was really good. I liked it.
That was fun. That was pretty
cute.
Fun. That was cool. Nice work.
That had like legitimately developed like the other two were good too, but this one had like arcing. It had like a story arc that
it was like
kind of like taking this.
The others too.
Yeah.
but I did like the voices, doing the voices. I kind of got into it at the end.
I think if you ever want to do like Scottish again, you just need to like start every sentence with boyo, even if the sentence doesn't actually have it in there.
Yeah, that's a good tactic. I can see why Eric Summer enjoys this. I had dinner with him at the Dice Tower dinner at Origins, and he was telling me about all the different books he had to read. And anyway, pretty fun stuff. But he said it's neat to read all these different things, and I can see the enjoyment factor there. But shall we get on to the fourth one, BattleCon X Batman?
Yes. So
I feel scared about this one.
Special, actually.
Yeah.
I feel a little scared because the last time we read anything that was cross Batman, it ended up being Edward from Twilight cross Batman, and it was their intense love story.
Oh dear.
Actually, the last one that was read was a Bane/Killer Croc.
Oh yeah, and that was worse. That was bad.
Yeah, I don't think this one's gonna be.
No, this one will be better.
Okay, but let's do this then. All right. Whew, man.
You should probably mention who wrote this one, by the way.
I'll see. I mean, I might have to like call him in here to answer for himself.
True.
This one's only 2 pages, so it shouldn't be too bad.
Like when you're done, you just call him in when you're done and be like, okay, what is this?
Yeah.
What is this?
All right.
Explain yourself. Your name's on the line.
The city of Gotham was sick, dying. In the span of one night, one man had crept into the underbelly of the city and infected it. People were disappearing. Cops on patrol never reported in. Children mysteriously vanished from school. And Alfred. Only one man could purge this evil from where it was hiding. Batman stalked the rooftops of Gotham looking for the source of all this. A man named Kadath. His patrol lead him to a conspicuous-looking warehouse where a blonde-haired man in a bright red jacket stood at the main entrance. His sources told him that he was named Hikaru and was Kadath's right-hand man. Figuring the direct approach was best with these seemingly thick-headed types, he landed quietly and strode up to the strange man. "I'm looking for Kadath. I heard you might know him." "You must be Batman. Kadath told me to give you a warm welcome." Hikaru's fist became enveloped with flames. He advanced on Batman in a fury of fiery blows. While powerful, his attacks were wild and easily dodged. "Didn't your mother tell you not to play with fire?" The retort just seemed to make Hikaru angry, and he launched another brutal assault. Fists flew left, right, left, but all of them missed their mark. Batman's didn't. With one swift blow, he sent Hikaru staggering backwards. With the next, he pinned him against the warehouse wall. Bringing Hikaru to eye level, he barked out his next question in a deep, deadly voice. "Where's Kadath?" The spit on his face was the only reply the blonde brawler gave him. "Wrong answer." Batman punched the statement with a knee into Hikaru's gut. Leaving the downed punk to his vomiting, Batman noticed a glint near the dumpster. It was the keys to the warehouse. They must have fallen out of Hikaru's pocket during the fight. Kneeling down to pick them up, he heard a sharp laugh as the vomiting behind him stopped. "Ha! You really knocked the wind out of me. I guess I should return the favor." The last thing the Cape Crusader saw was a flash of green light and a jet of wind speeding towards him. Batman awoke in a dimly lit room. He looked around. This was clearly the warehouse he was just at the entrance of. He tried moving, but his legs wouldn't budge, as if his mind was read. The answer he was looking for came from a new voice out in the darkness. "Don't bother trying to escape. You're trapped in my gate trap.
Oh.
Kadath!" "Oh, aren't we smart? The smartest in this world, I hear." Kadath came into the dim light and stopped a distance away, looking down on his victim through his monocled eye. Batman glared back. "There's a place for crazy kidnappers like you, Kadath. It's called Arkham, and you just earned a free lifetime ticket." Kadath smiled, unfazed by the helpless crime fighter. "A joker, too, I see. Well, you won't be having the last laugh tonight, Batman." "Why'd you do it, Kadath? Kidnapping all those innocent people." He needed to buy time. Kadath may have trapped his legs, but he only tied his arms. He may have had a strong mind, but Kadath's knots were weak. "Simple, Batman. I kidnapped your people to save mine. My people have suffered from a terrible plague, and I've been searching the plains for an answer to their plight. That's when I found this little plane called Earth and heard about the world's greatest detective," quotes. "I figured capturing a few thousand people with my gate traps would be enough to get your attention." Secretly loosening the ties around his arm, Batman reached for a batarang. "Well, you've got it right here." The batarang sliced through the air, but upon hitting its target, it bounced right off with a loud clang. Kadath, always ready with an answer, explained, "Your batarangs will never get through my power armor, and you're still trapped, you know." Kadath moved closer, the trap sucking Batman further into its confines with every step. "Why don't you help me find a cure for my people, and I'll let you and all the people go." "If your people are as sick as you, I'd rather not. I've heard madness is contagious." "How dare you insult my people?" Kadath's temper flared, but he quickly got it under control. "You know, I've heard you've done so much for Gotham for so long. I think what you need is an extended vacation." The trap was quickly pulling Batman in. "What's a vacation without a tour guide, Kadath?" Pulling at the wire attached to the batarang, he snared Kadath's leg, pulling him towards the deadly vortex. Kadath reached for his ancestral sword, only to have it knocked away by one last batarang before Batman lost the use of his arms to the other dimension. He had no choice. Like it or not, he had to stop the trap before he was sucked in. Batman, now free of his captor, wasted no time turning on the electricity in the wire around Kadath's leg. Right before he was able to loosen it and go for his sword, the wire filled Kadath with 10,000 volts of electricity. "Looks like I didn't have to get through your power armor at all," Batman remarked as he got to his feet. Kadath crumpled to the ground, almost passing out, but not before having one final word. "Curse you, Batman, but you'll never get away from me. Glenhide 8, Octavia 6, Burgundy 12! Kadath used the last of his energy to summon these strange beings. The one called Klinhide wore a strange suit that appeared to pump some fluid through his body. Atavia looked half human or half cyborg and carried a large rifle. The one called Burgundy was the most bizarre. It appeared to be a living stick figure. Whoever or whatever these things were, they only meant one thing to Batman. Goons. It's always goons. Quickly dispatching of the three strange figures, Batman stopped to catch his breath and assess the situation. He was met with a soft clapping that was getting louder by the second, coming from the second floor walkway. He looked up at the strange figure coming into view. It seems you've beaten my best men. Congratulations, Batman. Or should I say, Bruce? This perfect body, it couldn't be. Bruce, I should have known you were behind all this. A battle of gruesome proportions. Who will win? Find out next issue. So it's a doppelganger, Bruce?
I guess?
Yes, it must be minus world Batman. That can be the only explanation.
So instead of his real name in that world is Batman, and his alter ego is Bruce Wayne.
Yes.
No,
He's
it's
like
Lego. It's the Lego movie Batman.
Oh no!
It's his new opponent, whose alternate form is Bruce Wayne.
A battle of gruesome proportions. That's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant.
So should he answer for his crimes?
I think that surprisingly this wasn't the most ridiculous one that I read.
I know.
Yeah.
I think but it was quite good. It was quite good, and I'd love to read issue 2 on Fanfiction, not net. So, but man, wow, this was fun. This was fun.
Yeah.
Whew, do we have any more comments that are people still watching, or did people that get?
We still have 17 viewers.
Okay.
During the last one, we actually went up to 21 again.
Okay.
We were at 19 for a while.
Well,
I have to ask a quick question because I don't know the characters too well in BattleCon. I'm only recently beginning into it. Was there any specific inspiration for the character Kadath or his name? Because
Kadath was created by a friend of mine actually. So before we had BattleCon, we had an RPG for Argent. And the player characters in that RPG were Kadath and Hikaru and Voko.
Okay.
Yeah.
The only reason I asked is because there's a location in one of H.P. Lovecraft's stories called the City of Kadath, and I was like, I've never heard that outside of that HPL story, so it was just kind of like weird to hear it.
I think it's also Elven for justice.
That's even cooler.
In D&D or some other language, but yeah.
Some other Tolkien's backyard language.
Yeah, one of those. So the character was named by him, and it was.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, and then we kind of, when the RPG died down, we used the same world for War of Indians. So I decided that character would be, it was obviously Bruce Lee, said Sasha in the comments.
Oh.
Now I get it. Okay, yes.
Oh, because Bruce Lee's now a character, right?
Okay. Now it all makes sense. That's like way better now.
That ended much better, yeah.
Yeah.
That might actually be a total win on his part if that's the case.
Yes, that was good. That was pretty good.
Like when it was alternate Batman, it was like, okay, that's pretty cool. Now it's like, oh, Bruce Lee, oh hell yeah, that's.
Yeah.
So I hate to interrupt. We do have apparently a way past the deadline fanfic that just got written.
Oh, like what? Like while we were reading, somebody wrote one.
Yes. Guess who? It was Ryan Chilton.
Oh yeah. Well, he says if I were to send it before it's over, can it be read?
Yeah. So to send it, you have to send it to ninjahellinyourpants@gmail.com. It'll go straight to my inbox, and I'll add it straight to Google Drive.
Okay.
So,
well,
I might have to go before that because
I
do need to be somewhere at 7:15. So.
Yeah, I think I'm reaching my limit to live readings.
All right.
I can do like one more 1,500 words.
How about this? Instead, for the finale, I'll send it to you then, and you can read it there.
Okay, yeah, I'll read this one on the final hangout that we do with Jared Honeycutt at the end of the project, and you guys are
It's
welcome to
been
join
like
us for that as well.
2 hours.
If you want. Yeah, it's great. This has been fun though. This has been a lot.
Well, you're welcome on. You're welcome on anytime.
Yeah, well, just call me up. Call me up anytime. And
fair warning on most of our episodes, it is not family friendly. I will not
It's
even
not as
pretend.
clean.
I do not endorse Ninja Infocast in any way.
Yeah.
So,
We
absolutely
totally just block
don't
us
listen
from
to
all
this
over
show. Don't listen to these show. Don't listen to these guys. I'm just using them to my ends currently, but they'll very quickly outlive their usefulness once the show ends. So,
I knew it.
Yes, of course. All right. So I guess that ends this episode. Thank you very much for being on again. Who knows? Maybe we'll have to have you on for a different project or something.
Yeah, next time, give me a call. I think Millennium Blades will be right up your guys' alley because there's so much parody in that game. Like, there's a set that's a Netrunner parody. There's a set that's like a Power Rangers parody. There's a Sailor Moon parody. We've got like a Fist of the North Star set. All this ridiculous stuff that are like the different booster packs that you can buy and in that game. And man, Millennium Blades, it's going to be
some fan fiction ideas for those who might want to start writing more. Pick up those booster packs with those expansions and just start writing.
Yeah. Well,
what date and what time were you going to do that hangout?
The project ends this Saturday at midnight. So we are I'd say we're about 7 hours away from the 48-hour mark, which will be tonight at midnight.
So for us here in Texas, who live in Central Standard Time, that would be 1 a.m.?
That'd be, it ends at 1 a.m. Yeah.
All right.
So we'll be there. We'll be doing another live hangout. Everyone's welcome to comment in. This one will probably be more comment oriented. And also we'll have like a party going on here at the warehouse. So we'll have some of our friends and playtesters around to help us do the big countdown at the end. So it should be a lot of fun.
Awesome.
So, yeah, and
so we'll have to bring some drinks and make it a big thing on Saturday, and then just get plastered on the internet with you. So
yeah, don't. I don't know if are you allowed to drink on public television? I guess you're allowed to drink on YouTube television. Right?
Technically, this here does not qualify to FCC rules.
Oh, okay.
FCC rules, however, are you saying fart? I mean, that's going to get you more of a fine than drinking, probably.
Okay. Well, let's.
They don't have to know what's in it. It'll be orange juice and
let's just have like it's fine. Read everything and don't no emotes, no motions, no indication that we're anything that means.
Brad,
put up a little tag to say sound only on our nameplates.
Brad, remember, no matter what happens, you're probably going to do something that makes the FCC mad. I mean, that's just the way. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah, I suppose. But
I mean, I said the Pledge of Allegiance once, and the FCC got mad. So
is that? I guess that's all it takes. Yeah.
That, funny enough, that's actually somewhat of a true story. We're going to be putting up that documentary online, possibly. Maybe.
Who knows?
In the future.
Well, yeah. So I guess I imagine that everybody watching us is already backed the Kickstarter. So I don't think there's anything left to say except thank you guys for backing and for joining us, for watching. It's been a blast. It's been a lot of fun. And we'll see you in 2 days for the finale.
Definitely.
Sweet.
By the way, I will shoot you a link to the YouTube channel that you can put in like an update or something.
Okay, yeah, and I'll link this video and I'll link the channel and yeah, awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. It's been a lot of fun, and thanks again for hosting this.
Yeah,
the contest was great. It's made my night.
All right. Well, have a good night, man.
All right, y'all have a good night too, and thank you so much. Take care.
Bye.